Have you ever reached that point? That silent, desperate edge where it feels like you are screaming into a void. You've done everything right. You've followed the rules. You've pushed harder, worked longer, and believed with every fiber of your being. Yet the walls don't move, the doors don't open, and the life you desire remains a distant, shimmering mirage. It's a profound and lonely exhaustion. The feeling that your will, your strength, and your determination are simply not enough. That you are pushing with all your might against a door that was always meant to be pulled. The world tells you to hustle more, to want it more, to force the outcome you seek. But what if that very force is the source of your failure? What if your white-knuckle grip on control is the very thing choking the life out of your dreams? The great secret, the one whispered in ancient texts and echoed in the silent turning of the cosmos, is that when nothing works, the most powerful action you can take is not an action at all, but a sacred and deliberate release. It is not the weakness of giving up, but the supreme strength of surrender. It is an invitation to stop fighting the current and to finally learn how to flow with it. Over the course of our journey together, through this immersive audiobook experience, we will explore this profound shift. We will delve into the universal laws that govern creation, not as abstract theories, but as practical tools you can use to reshape your reality. We will uncover the messages the universe is constantly sending you, and learn the language required to understand them. This is not about abandoning your desires. It is about achieving them through a more elegant, a more powerful, and a more harmonious path. It begins here, in this moment, by quieting the struggle, by taking a breath, and by learning the single, transformative art of letting go, so that the universe, in all its infinite intelligence, can finally step in and rearrange the world in your favor. We begin with a paradox, a sacred truth that feels like a contradiction to the conditioned mind. We begin at the end of your rope, for it is only there, at the very edge of your own perceived power, that you can discover a power infinitely greater. You have been taught to fight, to struggle, to claw your way toward your desires. You have been told that victory belongs to the relentless, to the one who never gives in. But this philosophy has led you here, to this place of exhaustion, this hollow echo of effort without result. The first step, the foundational act to bending the universe to your will, is to stop trying to bend it at all. It is the silent power of surrender. Now, let the word surrender land gently in your mind. Notice the immediate resistance, the stories that bubble to the surface. For many, surrender is synonymous with defeat. It conjures images of a white flag, of giving up, of admitting failure. This is the ego's interpretation, a deep-seated program that equates letting go with losing. But we are not talking about giving up. Giving up is an act of despair. It is a cold, heavy finality, a declaration of hopelessness. When you give up, you slam the door on possibility. You collapse your energy, and you sink into a state of victimhood. It is a statement to the universe that says, I am powerless, and my desires are impossible. It is an ending. Surrender, on the other hand, is an act of profound faith and supreme intelligence. It is not an ending, but a new beginning. It is not the dropping of your sword in the mud, but the wise and trusting placement of your sword into the hands of a master. Surrender is the courageous admission that your conscious, logical mind, with its limited perspective and its database of past experiences, has reached the boundary of its capabilities. It is the understanding that, to solve a problem that was created from one level of consciousness, you must ascend to a higher one. Imagine you are in a small rowboat, caught in a powerful river current, desperately trying to row upstream toward a destination you have fixed in your mind. Your muscles burn, sweat stings your eyes, and your heart pounds with frantic effort. you are making little to no progress. And the river, this immense and indifferent force, simply continues its relentless pull. Giving up is ceasing to row and allowing the current to dash you against the rocks. Believing the river is your enemy and your journey is over. Surrender is the moment of enlightened awareness when you finally pull your oars into the boat. Not in defeat, but in trust. You stop fighting the current and instead turn your boat around to face downstream. You still hold the vision of your ultimate destination, but you release the desperate need to get there via one specific, arduous route. You trust that this powerful river, this flow of life, and knows a more effortless path, a winding passage that your limited vantage point from within the boat could never have seen. This is the energetic difference, the chasm that separates the two states. Giving up is a vibration of lack, fear, and closure. Surrender is a vibration of trust, faith, and radical openness. To understand why surrender is so powerful, we must speak the language of the universe, which is the language of energy and vibration. Every thought, every feeling, every state of being emits a frequency. The state of struggle, of forcing, of white-knuckled control, is a state of intense resistance. It creates a chaotic, frantic, and discordant energy signature. It is like screaming static into a microphone and expecting a beautiful symphony to be broadcast. The things you desire: peace, abundance, love, clarity, all exist on a higher, more coherent, and harmonious frequency. You cannot access a frequency of harmony from a state of internal chaos. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your resonance. It does not respond to your desperation. It mirrors your vibrational state. Your resistance, your fight, is the very static that jams the signal between you and your desired reality. The universe isn't withholding your good from you. You are simply vibrating at a frequency that cannot receive it. When you are struggling, you are telling the universe, through your energetic output, I don't have it. I am lacking. This is hard. I am separate from my desire. The law of attraction, which is a law as impartial as gravity, can only bring you more circumstances that match that feeling of hardness and lack. When you surrender, you stop producing the static. You cease the chaotic transmission. In the ensuing silence, you begin to naturally align with a higher frequency. You are stating, through your release, I trust. I am open. I am allowing. I know that my desire is on its way, and I am not going to interfere with its delivery. Think of a person who is drowning. Their instinctive reaction is to panic, to thrash wildly in the water, to expend all their energy in a desperate, uncoordinated fight for survival. But as any lifeguard will tell you, this is the most dangerous thing they can do. The more they struggle, the more they churn the water, the faster they sink. Their fight becomes their demise. The moment of salvation comes only when they stop fighting. If they can force themselves to be still, to lie back, and to let go, their body's natural buoyancy takes over. The very water that they perceived as their enemy becomes the element that supports them, that lifts them to the surface where they can finally breathe. The solution was always there, inherent in the situation, but it was completely inaccessible from a state of struggle. Your life is this water. Your problems are this perceived threat of drowning. Your frantic efforts, your worrying, your scheming, your forcing of outcomes, this is the thrashing that keeps you submerged, gasping for air. Surrender is the moment you decide to stop thrashing. You lay back. You release the tension in your body and your mind, and you allow the supportive nature of the universe, which has been there all along, to lift you up. In his remarkable journey, chronicled in The Surrender Experiment, author Michael A. Singer discovered that his own personal preferences and resistances were the source of all his friction with life. by making a conscious choice to surrender to the flow of events that life presented to him, rather than fighting for his own limited plans. His life unfolded in ways more magnificent than his mind could have ever architected. He found that when he stepped out of the way, a greater intelligence took over. This is the space that surrender creates. It carves out a vacuum in your life, a sacred emptiness where there was once only the noise of your striving, and the universe, which abhors a vacuum, rushes in to fill it. It fills it with synchronicities, with unforeseen opportunities, with chance encounters, and with brilliant ideas that seem to come from nowhere. These are the solutions you could never have found while you were drowning in the details of the problem. This is the magic that is waiting for you on the other side of your resistance. This first step, this silent act of surrender, is therefore not passive. It is not an abdication of responsibility. It is the most responsible thing you can do. It is a strategic clearing of the board. It is the quieting of the construction site so you can finally see the master blueprint. You have laid down the crude tools of force and struggle. You have silenced the noise. And now, in this newfound clarity, in this open and trusting space, you are ready to pick up the true instrument of creation, the silent architect that designs the very scaffolding of your reality. You are ready to understand the power of your own thought. In the profound stillness you have cultivated through surrender, a new awareness begins to dawn. You have quieted the external noise of struggle, and now you can begin to perceive the silent, ceaseless activity within. This is the realm of the unseen architect, the primary creative force that has been shaping your life from the inside out, often without your conscious permission. This architect is your own mind, and its building materials are your thoughts. We tend to dismiss our thoughts as fleeting, private, and inconsequential wisps of consciousness. But this is a profound misunderstanding of their nature. A thought is not a mere echo of reality. It is the very seed from which reality grows. Every single thing that exists in your man-made world first existed as a thought in a mind. The chair you are sitting on, the room you are in, the device on which you are listening are crystallized thought. And the same is true for the circumstances of your life, your health, your relationships, your financial state. They are all, in their essence, the physical manifestation of your dominant patterns of thinking. They are the harvest of seeds you have been planting, day after day, year after year. At the heart of this creative process is a law as fundamental and as impartial as gravity, like attracts like. This is not a mystical platitude. It is a principle of energetic resonance. Everything in the universe, from the most solid piece of steel to the most ethereal idea, is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. Your thoughts are a highly potent and refined form of energy. When you hold a thought in your mind, you are generating and broadcasting a specific vibrational signal. A thought of fear, for instance, has a very different energetic signature than a thought of joy. A thought of scarcity vibrates on a different frequency than a thought of abundance. The universe, in its function as a great cosmic mirror, does not judge your signals as good or bad. It simply matches them. It reflects your energy back to you in the form of corresponding people, situations, and events. Think of it like a set of cosmic tuning forks. If you strike a tuning fork tuned to the note of C, any other C note tuning forks in the vicinity will begin to hum in sympathetic resonance. They have no choice. It is the law of their nature. Your dominant thought patterns are the first tuning fork. Your life experience is the second. If you continuously strike the note of "I'm not good enough," the universe cannot deliver to you the experience of "You are worthy and celebrated." It must, by law, cause the tuning fork of your reality to vibrate with experiences that feel exactly like not good enough. Conversely, if you can learn to consistently hold the note of gratitude, of capability, of love, the world around you must begin to hum with people and circumstances that resonate with that beautiful music. But how does a single thought, a fleeting and seemingly powerless thing, gain enough momentum to manifest as a tangible reality? The process is one of accumulation and reinforcement. A single thought is like a single drop of rain. It has little impact, but a continuous downpour of the same thoughts can carve canyons into the landscape of your mind and your life. A thought, when entertained repeatedly, begins to feel familiar. This familiarity gives it credibility. A thought held with conviction becomes a belief, and a belief is not merely a passive filter through which you view the world. It is an active force that creates the world you view. A belief operates as a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you hold a deep-seated belief that making money is hard, you will unconsciously be drawn to difficult jobs. You will overlook easy opportunities. You will make poor financial decisions. And you will interpret any setback as proof of your core belief. You become trapped in a feedback loop where your belief creates your reality, and your reality then reinforces your belief, making it stronger and more unshakable over time. These reinforced thought patterns become the superhighways of your mind. It becomes incredibly easy to think the same old thoughts, to feel the same old feelings, and thus, to get the same old results. To create a new reality, you must have the courage to venture off these well-worn highways and begin carving a new mental path. The ancient sage James Allen, in his masterpiece As a Man Thinketh, provided the most perfect metaphor for this process. He said that a man's mind is like a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. Whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein, and will continue to produce their kind. Just as a gardener must tend his plot, so must you tend the garden of your mind. Are you consciously choosing the seeds you plant, or are you allowing the stray seeds of news reports, of other people's opinions, of past failures, and of baseless fears to be carried by the wind into your fertile consciousness? Complaining about your circumstances is like a gardener complaining about the weeds without ever having planted flowers. You cannot sow seeds of thistle thoughts of resentment, criticism, and worry and expect to harvest a bounty of luscious peaches, a life of joy, peace, and success. The harvest will always, without fail, match the seed. The work, then, is to become a master gardener. It is to practice the art of diligently uprooting the weeds of negativity the moment they appear, and to consciously, deliberately, plant and nurture the seeds of whatever you wish to see grow in your life. This leads us to the practical application of this knowledge, the concept of a mental diet, a term popularized by the great spiritual teacher Emmett Fox. Just as you are mindful of the food you consume to nourish your body, you must become even more vigilant about the thoughts you consume to nourish your mind and spirit. A mental diet does not mean you will never have a negative thought again. That is an unrealistic expectation. You are a human being living in a world of contrast. The goal is not suppression. For what you resist persists. The goal is conscious choice. The practice is to become an observer of your thoughts, a gatekeeper at the door of your mind. When a negative or unhelpful thought appears, a thought of doubt, a memory of failure, a worry about the future, you do not fight it. You do not wrestle it to the ground. You simply acknowledge its presence, without judgment, as you would acknowledge a dark cloud passing in the sky. And then you gently withdraw your attention from it. You refuse to serve it. You refuse to water that weed. Instead, you consciously pivot your focus to a better feeling thought. You choose a different seed to plant in that moment. It is a mental muscle. At first, it will feel difficult. The pull of the old mental highways is strong, but with each conscious pivot, with each choice to starve the weed and feed the flower, the new neural pathway becomes stronger. Eventually, what was once an effort becomes a new, effortless habit. Your default state becomes one of optimism, faith, and empowerment. And we must be clear, thought is far more than just reciting positive affirmations while feeling miserable. It is the silent, internal chatter that runs in the background of your day. It is the assumptions you make when you wake up in the morning. It is the mental movies you play of future triumphs or future disasters. It is the questions you habitually ask yourself, changing from "why does this always happen to me?" to "what is this trying to teach me?" is a seismic shift in your creative power. These are the real blueprints. Your thoughts, in all their forms, are the detailed architectural drawings for the magnificent cathedral of your life. They provide the structure, the design, the vision. But a blueprint, no matter how precise or beautiful, remains a two-dimensional drawing. It is lifeless paper and ink. To bring that cathedral into glorious, three-dimensional existence, it requires something more. It needs energy. It needs a life force. It needs the masons, the carpenters, and the artisans to pour their vitality into its construction. This animating power, this energetic fuel for our mental blueprints, is the very language of the soul and the currency of the cosmos. It is the undeniable, magnetic, and creative power of feeling. If the blueprint of thought is the silent architect of your reality, then feeling is the very life force that energizes the plan and commands the universe to begin construction. This is the missing piece for so many who venture down this path. They try to build a new life using only the cold logic of positive thinking, repeating affirmations like incantations, yet they remain stuck, frustrated that their words feel hollow and their efforts bear no fruit. They have a detailed map but an empty fuel tank. The engine of creation is not powered by words alone, it is powered by emotion. Feeling is the currency of the cosmos, the language the subconscious mind understands, the energetic charge that turns a simple thought into a magnetic, reality-bending force. You can stand before a mirror and say, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times. But if your body is vibrating with the feeling of anxiety about unpaid bills, if your heart is constricted with the feeling of lack, the universe doesn't hear your words. It feels your constriction. It feels your anxiety. The feeling is the prayer. And the universe, in its infinite and impartial wisdom, always answers the prayer you are truly praying. The one broadcast not from your lips, but from the depths of your heart. The combination of thought and emotion is the true alchemy of creation. A thought, by itself, is merely a potential. It is a destination you have chosen on a map. But the emotion is what starts the engine and engages the gear. It is the propulsive energy that begins the journey. Thought provides the structure, feeling provides the substance. When you combine a clear thought of what you want with the elevated emotion of already having it, you are generating a powerful electromagnetic signature that radiates out from you into the quantum field of all possibility. This signature is not a request, it is a command. It is a signal that says you are no longer a vibrational match for your old reality of lack or longing. And you have now become a vibrational match for the new reality you have chosen. The universe, which is a magnificent system of energetic organization, must then begin to orchestrate events to match your new broadcast. It has no other choice. This is why you cannot deceive the system. You cannot harbor feelings of resentment and attract loving relationships. You cannot marinate in feelings of scarcity and attract a life of overflowing abundance. The thought gives the direction, but the feeling provides the magnetism. To navigate this inner landscape, the universe has equipped you with a flawless, built-in guidance system. This system is your emotional scale. We have been conditioned to see our emotions as inconvenient, as weaknesses, or as random reactions to external events. They are none of these things. Your emotions are a precise, moment-by-moment feedback mechanism, a vibrational indicator telling you whether you are aligned or misaligned with your own desires and your true self. Think of it as a cosmic compass. When you are feeling emotions at the higher end of the scale, joy, love, gratitude, passion, excitement, peace, your internal compass needle is pointing directly north. This is a clear signal from your inner being that your current thoughts and your point of focus are in perfect alignment with what you want to create. The feeling is a confirmation. Yes. Continue in this direction. This line of thinking is serving you. You are on the path. Conversely, when you experience emotions at the lower end of the scale, fear, anger, jealousy, despair, frustration, where the compass needle is spinning wildly or pointing due to south, this is not a punishment. It is not a sign that your life is doomed. It is a merciful, loving signal designed to get your attention. It is your guidance system saying, warning, the thought you are currently focused on is out of alignment with who you really are and what you really want. This thought, if you continue to think it, will lead you further away from your desired destination. Please, choose another thought. By reframing your emotions in this way, you transform them from adversaries into your most trusted allies. Negative feelings are no longer states to be feared or suppressed, but simply helpful indicators that it's time to adjust your thinking. Let us use the powerful analogy of a radio. Imagine that everything you could ever desire: perfect health, boundless creativity, deep fulfillment, financial freedom is being continuously broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from a powerful station. Let's call this station Prosperity 101 FM. The broadcast is always on. The signal is crystal clear, and the music is the most beautiful you have ever heard. Now, your emotional state is the tuner on your personal radio. If your tuner is set to worry 3 a.m., you can sit by your radio all day. You can get angry at the radio. You can beg the radio to play the music you want. But you will only ever hear the static-filled broadcast of worry. It is a physical and energetic impossibility to hear the music of Prosperity 101 FM when your dial is set to a different frequency. The work, then, is not to try and change the broadcast, which is constant and always available. The work is to consciously and deliberately turn your own dial. You do this by choosing to focus on things that make you feel even 1% better. You turn your attention away from what is wrong and deliberately place it on what is right. No matter how small, each time you choose a thought of appreciation over a thought of complaint, you are turning your dial. Each time you choose to imagine a positive outcome over a negative one, you are turning your dial. You are incrementally shifting your frequency, moving away from the static of fear and closer to the clear, beautiful music of your desire. This leads us to one of the most profound and potent techniques for creation, a concept taught masterfully by the mystic Neville Goddard, the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the quantum leap. This is moving beyond just tuning your radio and instead becoming the broadcast itself. The average person thinks of their desire as something out there, something they must strive for and chase after. The master creator knows that the desire is something to be inhabited in here. Right now, the practice is to ask yourself, not what it would feel like to get your desire, which often brings up feelings of excitement mixed with impatience, but what it would feel like to already have it. What is the feeling tone? The state of being of the person who is living your dream. Close your eyes for a moment and truly contemplate this. If your financial worries were completely gone, what would the dominant feeling be? Perhaps not wild excitement, but a deep, quiet exhale, a feeling of peace, of safety, of normalcy. If you were already in the loving relationship you seek, what would be the ambient feeling of your days? Perhaps a sense of companionship, of being understood, of calm contentment, that feeling, that quiet, settled, natural state of being. That is the destination. You must learn to generate that feeling within yourself now, independent of your external circumstances. You must live from the end, not for the end. By inhabiting the feeling state of your wish already fulfilled, you are sending out the single most powerful signal possible. You are telling the universe that the deal is done. You are no longer asking. You are acknowledging. You are no longer hoping. You are being. When you successfully combine the blueprint of a clear thought with the magnetic energy of a sustained feeling, you become an unstoppable creative force. You are a walking, talking magnet for the very things you have claimed internally. And when you maintain this inner alignment, when you make the feeling of your wish fulfilled your default state of being, you will inevitably begin to witness a miracle. The world outside of you, the world you once thought was so solid and immutable, will begin to soften, to shift, and to rearrange itself. People will say the exact thing you need to hear. Opportunities will appear as if from thin air. Problems will resolve themselves in unexpected ways. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. This is the law. The external world is, and always has been, a flawless mirror, reflecting back to you the truth of your internal state. And now that you have learned to curate your inner world, you are ready to understand the profound and illuminating nature of this great cosmic mirror. Having calibrated your inner world with the power of thought and the fuel of feeling, you are now prepared to understand one of the most profound and transformative secrets of a conscious life. This is a principle so radical that the ego will fight it, so simple that the intellect will try to complicate it, and so powerful that once you truly grasp it, your life can never be the same. The principle is this: the world you experience is not a solid, objective, and separate reality. It is a mirror. Everything you see, everyone you meet, and every circumstance you encounter is a direct reflection of your own internal state. Life is not happening to you, it is responding to you. This is the great shift in perception. Moving from a position of cosmic victim to one of cosmic creator. It is the understanding that the universe has no opinion of you. It has no favorites and no outcasts. It simply and flawlessly reflects the truth of who you believe you are and what you feel you deserve. How can this be? It is not a whimsical fantasy, but a process rooted in the mechanics of consciousness itself. Your brain contains a network of neurons known as the reticular activating system, which acts as a sophisticated filter for reality. Billions of bits of information bombard your senses every second. And it is the job of this system to filter out the noise and show you only what is relevant. And what determines relevance? Your beliefs, your dominant thoughts, and your vibrational state. Your inner world acts as the programming for this filter. If you hold a core belief that people are fundamentally untrustworthy, your brain will diligently scan your environment and highlight every piece of evidence that confirms this belief. It will magnify a shifty glance. It will misinterpret an innocent comment. And it will draw into your experience individuals who play out this drama of betrayal. Simultaneously, it will render invisible the overwhelming evidence of honesty and integrity that also exists in the world. The trustworthy people are there, but they literally do not register in your filtered reality. It is as if you are wearing a specific pair of colored glasses. If your glasses are tinted with the hue of fear, the entire world looks menacing. You do not question this, you simply experience it as objective fact. The mirror principle invites you to realize that you are not just wearing the glasses, you have manufactured them. And you have the power to change the prescription at any time. Nowhere is this mirror more clear, and often more confronting, than in the realm of your personal relationships. The people who populate your life are not there by accident. They are divine appointments. Actors cast in the movie of your life to show you something about yourself. Those individuals who trigger the strongest emotional reactions in you are your greatest teachers. Consider the person who infuriates you with their arrogance. The conventional response is to blame them, to judge them, to wish they would change. The conscious response is to turn inward and ask, what part of me is this person reflecting? Perhaps they are mirroring a suppressed arrogance you are not willing to admit you possess. Or, more commonly, they are mirroring a wound within you. Their bold self-expression might be triggering your own deep-seated belief that you are not allowed to be confident, that you must remain small to be safe or liked. Their freedom highlights your own self-imposed cage. The anger you feel towards them is actually anger at your own limitations, which they have so brilliantly illuminated. The same is true for the person you perceive as a constant victim, who seems to drain your energy. They may be mirroring back your own unacknowledged feelings of powerlessness in some area of your life, or a belief that you are responsible for fixing everyone else's problems. This principle works for positive reflections as well. The friend you admire for their boundless creativity is simply showing you the wellspring of creativity that lies dormant within you. The mentor you look up to for their courage and integrity is mirroring your own potential for those same qualities. What you admire in others is your own unrecognized beauty. What you judge in others is your own unhealed pain. The radical implication of this is that the fastest way to change your relationship with someone is not to confront them or try to change them, but to heal the part of yourself that their behavior is reflecting. As you heal your own feelings of insecurity, the arrogant person will either soften their behavior in your presence, or they will simply and gracefully drift out of your life. Their purpose in your journey having been fulfilled, the mirror no longer needs to show you that reflection. There is a wonderful old parable that illustrates this perfectly. It speaks of a special place known as the Room of 1,000 Mirrors. One day, a happy little dog bounced into the room, and upon seeing 1,000 other happy dogs wagging their tails, he became ecstatic. He barked joyfully, and 1,000 dogs barked joyfully back. He played and danced for hours with his 1,000 friendly companions, and when he left, he thought to himself, "This is the most wonderful place in the world. I will come back often." Later that day, an angry, suspicious dog slunk into the very same room. Seeing 1,000 angry dogs staring back at him, baring their teeth, he began to snarl and bark with all his might. The 1,000 reflections snarled back with equal ferocity. He fought them for a while, growing more and more enraged, until he finally left, exhausted and bitter. As he walked away, he thought, "This is a horrible place. The world is full of angry dogs, and I will never return." The profound truth of the story is that the room itself was entirely neutral. It was empty of all judgment, containing neither anger nor joy. It simply reflected, with perfect, impartial accuracy, whatever was brought into it. Your life is this room of 1,000 mirrors. It will show you exactly what you bring. This principle extends beyond people and into every corner of your existence. Your financial state is a mirror. A bank account that is perpetually empty is a reflection of an internal consciousness of lack, a belief that there is not enough, or that you are not worthy of abundance. Your physical health is a mirror. Chronic illness can often be a reflection of chronic stress, unresolved emotional trauma, or a deep disharmony within your spirit. Even seemingly random events are part of this reflection. A sudden breakdown of your car may be mirroring an internal state of rushing, of not being present. Or it may be a message that you are moving too fast in a direction that does not serve you. Accepting this can be the hardest pill to swallow, because it dissolves all possibility of blame. You can no longer blame the economy, your boss, your genetics, or bad luck. But in losing the ability to blame, you gain something infinitely more valuable. You gain total power. If your reality is merely a reflection of your inner state, then you don't ever have to waste another ounce of energy trying to scrub the mirror. You don't fix a reflection by polishing the glass. You change the object or person standing in front of it. Your work is never out there. It is always, and only, on, inside job. So if the world is a mirror, and that mirror is reflecting a movie being played from within, the next logical step on our journey is to go into the projection room. We must understand the deep, hidden, and powerful programs that are running the show. Often, without our awareness, we must venture into the domain of the subconscious mind. We have arrived at the control room, the hidden chamber from which the movie of your life is being projected onto the screen of the world. We have followed the chain of creation from the mirror of reality, back to the feelings that energize it, back to the thoughts that design it. And now we arrive at the source code itself. This is the vast, powerful, and mysterious realm of the subconscious mind. If your mind were an iceberg, the conscious mind, the part you are aware of, the part that thinks, analyzes, and makes decisions is merely the small tip visible above the water. The subconscious mind is the immense, unseen mass of ice that lies beneath the surface. It is this hidden part, estimated to constitute up to 95% of your total mental activity, that truly dictates the course of your life, steering your ship through the currents of fate, often in direct opposition to the declared wishes of the conscious captain. You can desire success with all your conscious will. But if your subconscious is programmed for failure, it is failure that you will inevitably create. To truly change your life, you must learn to speak its language and rewrite its ancient code. To work with the subconscious, you must first understand its nature. It is not an enemy to be conquered. It is a loyal and powerful servant awaiting your command. But it has a very specific set of characteristics. Firstly, the subconscious mind is not logical. It is literal. It does not reason, analyze, or judge. It is a biological hard drive that accepts any program given to it as absolute truth and then works tirelessly to execute that program. It is the seat of your long-term memory, your habits, your ingrained skills, and your emotions. It is what keeps your heart beating and your lungs breathing without you ever having to think about it. It learns primarily through two methods: intense emotion and constant repetition. Its primary directive, above all else, is to keep you safe. And its definition of safe is based entirely on the programs it has already accepted as true. This is why change can feel so difficult. When you try to step outside your comfort zone, your subconscious mind perceives this as a threat to your safety and floods your body with feelings of fear and anxiety to pull you back to what is familiar. It literally does not understand humor or metaphor. If you habitually say things like, "Oh, that presentation is going to kill me," or "I'm sick and tired of being broke," your loyal servant hears a direct command. It doesn't know you're joking. It simply registers the emotional charge and the words, and begins to create a reality that matches them, producing genuine feelings of stress, fatigue, and lack. So, where did these powerful, life-directing programs come from? For most of us, they were installed before we were old enough to choose them. The first 7 years of a child's life are a period of profound hypnotic programming. During this time, the human brain is operating predominantly in theta brainwave frequencies, a state of heightened receptivity and imagination, similar to a deep trance. In this state, a child is like a sponge, downloading their foundational understanding of the world directly into their subconscious hard drive. With little to no critical filtering, they absorb their core beliefs about love, self-worth, money, and reality from the words, actions, and emotional states of their parents, family, and early environment. An offhand comment from a stressed parent, like, "We can never afford nice things," is not processed by a child as a temporary financial situation. It is installed as a permanent piece of software, a clause in a lifelong subconscious contract that reads, "The world is a place of scarcity, and I am not someone who gets to have nice things." A child who is told to be quiet and not make a fuss may install a program that says, "My voice doesn't matter, and my needs are an inconvenience." These unexamined beliefs become the invisible architecture of our lives, the silent contracts we have sworn to uphold, dictating our choices, attracting our experiences, and creating the very limitations we consciously struggle against. Dr. Joseph Murphy, a pioneer in the study of the subconscious mind, used a brilliant metaphor to explain this dynamic. He compared our being to a great ocean liner. Your conscious mind is the captain. Standing on the bridge, the captain is the one who studies the maps, charts the course, and decides on the destination. He looks out at the horizon and gives the orders. Your subconscious mind is the vast, powerful, and obedient crew working deep within the ship's engine room. This crew never sees the outside world. They do not know or care about the destination. Their sole job is to take the orders given by the captain and operate the colossal engines accordingly. If the captain gives the order, full speed ahead, they will make it so. Now, imagine the captain, your conscious mind, stands on the bridge and declares, "Our destination is the island of abundance, full speed ahead." But the crew in the engine room, your subconscious mind, in its deep loyalty, is operating from an old, tattered map. It was given when the captain was a small child. This old map is covered in warnings scribbled by past authorities. Danger. The waters around the island of abundance are treacherous. Or warning. People like us are not welcome on that island. What does the loyal crew do? Hearing the captain's order, but bound by its deeper programming to keep the ship safe, it begins to subtly sabotage the journey. It might misread the compass, develop a sudden engine problem, or steer the ship into a fog bank. The captain on the bridge becomes immensely frustrated, wondering why he is so unlucky, why he can never reach his goals, never realizing that his own subconscious crew is diligently working against his conscious commands, all in a misguided attempt to honor its original programming and keep him safe. The first step in rewriting this contract is excavation. You must become an archaeologist of your own mind. And the map to the buried artifacts is your current life. Look at the areas where you consistently struggle. That is where your most powerful limiting beliefs are hidden. If you consistently struggle with money, despite your best efforts, you have a subconscious contract related to scarcity or unworthiness. If you find yourself in the same toxic relationship patterns over and over, you are operating under a contract about love or your own value. Ask yourself powerful questions. What did my parents believe about money? What did I learn about love from my family? What is the recurring negative thought that seems to have been with me my entire life? Your life is the printout of your program. To change the printout, you must find and alter the code. Once unearthed, you can begin the sacred work of rewriting these contracts. This is not done through force or willpower, but through speaking to the subconscious in its own language, the language of repetition, emotion, and imagery, particularly when the gateway to its realm is open. The moments just before you fall asleep and just as you are waking up are the golden hours for reprogramming. In these hypnagogic and hypnopompic states, your brainwaves naturally slow down to alpha and theta. The critical conscious mind is dormant, and the door to the subconscious is wide open. A suggestion planted here is like a seed planted in the most fertile soil on Earth. This is the time for autosuggestion and visualization. Instead of replaying your worries, you feed your mind a new truth. You repeat a simple, powerful affirmation, such as "I am a magnet for success and abundance." And you feel the emotion of it being true. You create a vivid mental movie of yourself living in your desired reality, engaging all your senses, feeling the joy, the peace, the gratitude of it now. By repeating this process night after night, you are methodically overwriting the old, faulty code with a new, empowering program. You are giving your crew in the engine room a new map. This is not a quick fix. It is the patient and loving work of a lifetime. By consciously engaging in this process, you are taking back the pen. You are no longer a character living out a script written by others in your past. You are becoming the author of your own story. And now that you have begun to repair the ship and give the crew a new destination, you are finally ready to take the helm and deliberately, consciously, create the future you truly desire. Having journeyed into the engine room of your being and begun the sacred work of rewriting your subconscious contracts, you now emerge onto the deck of your life. no longer a passenger, subject to the hidden currents of past programming, but as the captain, ready to consciously chart a course. This is where our journey pivots from the internal work of repair to the exhilarating art of deliberate creation. It is the moment we move beyond the passive, fragile energy of wishing and hoping, and step into the focused, potent, and sovereign power of commanding our reality into existence. Wishing is a prayer whispered from a place of lack, a request made with hands open but a heart full of doubt. Deliberate creation is a declaration made from a place of wholeness, a statement of fact uttered with the calm confidence of a master who knows that what is conceived in mind and felt in heart must be born into the world of form. You are no longer asking if you can reach the destination. You are now plotting the most joyful and direct route. The first and most crucial element in the art of deliberate creation is absolute clarity. The universe is a field of infinite possibility, but it is also a field of infinite precision. It responds to specific commands, not to vague and ambiguous desires. To say, "I just want to be happy," or "I want more money," is like walking into a grand cosmic restaurant and telling the waiter, "Just bring me some food." You might get a plate of something, but the chances of it being the exquisite meal your heart truly craves are slim to none. The universe requires a specific order. You must have the courage to decide, with crystalline clarity, what it is you truly want to experience. Do not be shy. Do not be realistic, for realism is often just a cage built from past limitations. Be bold. If you want more money, how much? Specifically, write down the number. If you want a loving partner, what are their qualities? How does the relationship feel? What do you do together? If you want a new career, what does your ideal day look like? From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, even more important than the what, however, is the why. Your why is the emotional engine behind your desire. It is the soul of your creation. Why do you want that specific amount of money? Is it for the feeling of security, the freedom to travel, the joy of providing for your loved ones? Why do you want that specific relationship? Is it for the feeling of companionship, of being deeply seen and understood, of shared laughter and growth? The why connects your desire to your core being, elevating it from a simple egoic want to a heartfelt intention. When you are clear on both your what and your why, you have created a powerful, focused beam of intention, a clear signal that cuts through the static of infinite possibilities and gives the universe its marching orders. With this clarity in hand, we can now engage the elegant, three-step process of creation, a framework articulated beautifully by the teachings of Abraham Hicks. It is vital to understand each step and to understand which part is your work and which is not. Step 1. You ask. This is the easiest step. And in truth, you are doing it all the time, whether you are aware of it or not. Every time you experience something you do not like, a moment of frustration, a feeling of lack, a difficult interaction, you automatically, and often unconsciously, launch a rocket of desire for its opposite. The contrast of life itself causes you to constantly refine your preferences and send out new requests. Your only work in this step is to become more conscious of what you are asking for, to move from asking by default to asking by design. Step 2. The universe answers. This step is not your job. Read that again. It is not your work to figure out how it will happen, when it will happen, or who will bring it to you. The moment you ask, it is given. The instant your desire is born, the universe creates its vibrational equivalent and holds it for you in what can be thought of as a vibrational escrow. The source energy of the cosmos immediately becomes a perfect match to your fulfilled desire. There is no delay. There is no judgment. The universe does not need to check if you are worthy or if you have earned it. It simply answers. The belief that you must struggle and strive to make it happen is the primary source of all resistance. Your desire is a done deal on the energetic plane the moment you conceive of it. Step 3. You must allow it in, or receive. This is it. This is your only work. This is the step where the entire game is won or lost. Since your desire has already been created vibrationally, your sole task is to bring yourself into vibrational alignment with it. Your job is to tune your personal frequency to match the frequency of your answered prayer. How do you do this? By practicing everything we have already discussed. By choosing thoughts that feel good. By cultivating the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. By tending to your inner state. All forms of doubt, worry, impatience, and fear are simply you setting your radio dial to a different station than the one your desire is being broadcast on. Allowing is the art of letting go of the resistance, trusting the process, and making your dominant emotional state one of joy, gratitude, and peace. Your only job is to feel good. Now, think of the master sculptor, Michelangelo. When he was tasked with creating his statue of David, he was given a colossal block of marble that other artists had rejected, seeing it as flawed and unworkable. But where others saw a useless stone, Michelangelo saw the finished masterpiece. He famously said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Notice his words. His job was not to create David from scratch. His job was to reveal him. He knew that the perfect form of David was already present within the stone, and his work was simply to chip away everything that was not David. This is the perfect metaphor for deliberate creation. Your desire is David, already existing in its perfect, complete form within the quantum field, the uncarved block of marble. Your work is not to strain and force it into existence. Your work is to chip away everything that is not your desire. You chip away a belief of unworthiness. You chip away a thought of doubt. You chip away a feeling of impatience. You are not a desperate builder trying to construct something from nothing. You are a master sculptor, joyfully revealing the perfection that is already there. To make this process tangible and incredibly potent, you can use the magical technique of scripting. Scripting is the art of writing about your desired reality in the past tense, as if it is a memory you are fondly recalling. This is not a to-do list, it is a done list. It is a journal entry from your future self. Take a notebook and write, "Dear Universe, thank you for the most incredible day. I am still buzzing with joy. I remember waking up this morning and feeling such a profound sense of peace in my new home. The way the morning light hit the kitchen was just beautiful. I will never forget the feeling of looking at my bank statement online and seeing that number. The number I wrote down months ago. It wasn't a feeling of shock, but of deep, satisfying recognition. Like coming home. Right, with rich, sensory detail. What did you see? Hear? Smell? And most importantly, how did you feel? Infuse the words with the emotions of gratitude, relief, and joy. This practice is a form of quantum alchemy. It crystallizes your desire into a clear blueprint. And more importantly, it compels you to occupy the vibrational state of the person who is already living this reality. You are literally tuning yourself to the frequency of your creation. As you begin to engage in this beautiful art, getting clear on your desires, understanding the 3 steps, and scripting your reality into being, you will notice something astonishing. The universe will begin to respond. It will start to leave you clues. It will send you winks and confirmations. It will communicate with you in a language all its own. To become a true master of creation, you must not only learn to broadcast your signal outward, but also learn to receive and interpret the divine feedback that the universe sends in return. You must learn to read the signs. As you begin to stand in your power as a deliberate creator, sending clear intentions into the quantum field, a beautiful and mysterious dialogue begins. The universe, which you once saw as silent and indifferent, starts to talk back. It responds, not in human language, but in a language of symbols, whispers, and divinely orchestrated coincidences. This is the feedback loop of creation. The confirmation that your signal is being received. To become a true master of this art, you must move from delivering a monologue to engaging in a dialogue. You must learn to listen. You must learn the subtle and profound language of the universe, the language of signs, synchronicities, and symbols. This is where the journey becomes truly magical, where the veil between the seen and the unseen thins, and you begin to experience yourself as a cherished collaborator with the cosmos. The cornerstone of this cosmic language is the phenomenon known as synchronicity. The term was coined by the brilliant psychologist Carl Jung, who described it as a causal connecting principle, or more simply, a meaningful coincidence. A regular coincidence is random and holds no personal significance, seeing two people wearing the same hat. For instance, a synchronicity, however, is a coincidence that feels freighted with meaning, imbued with a sense of otherworldly orchestration that speaks directly to you. It is the moment you have a pressing question in your mind, and you walk past a bookstore where a book in the window seems to scream the answer. It is the moment you are struggling with a decision, and you overhear a stranger's conversation that perfectly articulates the wisdom you needed to hear. These are not random accidents. They are precisely targeted messages. They are the universe winking at you, a confirmation that your inner shifts are registering in the outer world. A synchronicity is the universe's way of saying, "I hear you. I am with you. Keep going." To become fluent in this language, you must learn to recognize its vocabulary. The universe uses the material of your everyday life as its canvas. One of the most common signs is the appearance of repeating number sequences. You might find yourself glancing at the clock at exactly 11:11 every day, or seeing the numbers 444, 222, or 555 on license plates, receipts, and phone numbers. While many traditions assign specific meanings to these numbers, it is often more powerful to view them more simply, as a direct tap on the shoulder from your higher self or your spiritual guides. It is a digital hello from across the veil, a simple and powerful affirmation that you are in a state of alignment and that you should pay attention to the thoughts and feelings you are having in that exact moment. Another common method of communication is through music. You get in your car with a heavy heart, and a song comes on the radio with lyrics that speak so perfectly to your situation that it brings tears to your eyes. This is not a coincidence, it is a prescription. It is a vibrational message delivered through melody and word. Nature, too, is a constant messenger. Seeing a majestic hawk circling overhead at a moment of decision, or having a butterfly land on you during a period of transformation, can be powerful, symbolic nudges. Their meaning often tied to your own personal associations with these creatures. Now, the logical, skeptical mind, the part of you that wants to keep you safe within the known world, will immediately raise an objection. This is just confirmation bias. It will say, "You are looking for these things, so, of course, you are seeing them." This is a valid and important point to consider, and learning to discern between a true sign and mere wishful thinking is a crucial skill. Confirmation bias is a purely mental process. You decide you want a red car, and suddenly you see red cars everywhere. A true synchronicity, however, is a holistic experience. It lands differently. It doesn't just register in your mind. It resonates through your entire body. It often carries a distinct energetic signature, a sudden intake of breath, a tingling sensation, a feeling of goosebumps, or a spontaneous sense of wonder and awe. It bypasses the analytical mind and speaks directly to your soul, delivering a jolt of clarity or a profound sense of peace. The key is to trust your inner resonance. If an event feels flat and purely intellectual, it may be just a coincidence. But if it makes the world stop for a second, if it gives you a chill, if it feels like a scene written just for you in the movie of your life, pay attention. That is a message. To strengthen this connection and amplify the magic, it is incredibly helpful to create a synchronicity journal. Dedicate a notebook solely to this purpose. When a meaningful coincidence occurs, write down the date. Describe the question or the emotional state you were in just before it happened. Then, Detail the sign itself, the numbers you saw, the song you heard, the conversation you overheard. Most importantly, describe how it made you feel. This practice accomplishes two vital things. Firstly, it trains your brain, specifically your reticular activating system, to become more attuned to this language. You are telling your subconscious, "This is important. Show me more of this." And it will oblige. Secondly, over time, this journal becomes an undeniable, personal testament to your connection with a higher intelligence. During moments of doubt or fear, you can flip through its pages and be reminded of the dozens, even hundreds, of times the universe has personally reached out to you. It becomes a sacred text of your own lived experience, a source of unshakable faith built not on blind belief, but on a mountain of personal evidence. The classic example of synchronicity, one that many have experienced, is thinking with great intensity about an old friend you haven't seen in years, only to have your phone ring moments later with their name on the screen. This is a perfect demonstration of the causal connection Jung spoke of. Your focused thought and emotion created an energetic bridge across time and space, and they responded. The purpose of these signs is not merely for entertainment or to make you feel special, though they certainly can do that. Their ultimate purpose is guidance. They are cosmic breadcrumbs scattered along your path. They are the universe's way of confirming your choices, of highlighting opportunities, and of gently nudging you in the direction of your highest good. But these signs, these winks from the cosmos, are not the destination. They are the green lights on the highway. They are the encouraging cheers from the sideline. And they are all designed to give you the courage and the confidence to take the next step. However, this next step is not the forceful, desperate action of the old paradigm. It is a new way of moving, a response rather than a reaction, a dance rather than a march. It is action that feels less like a push from behind and more like a gentle pull from a future that is calling you forward. It is the way of inspired action. You have learned to listen to the whispers of the universe, to recognize the winks and nudges it sends you in the form of synchronicities and signs. These celestial breadcrumbs have confirmed that you are on the right path, that your inner work is resonating with the cosmos. And now, they beckon you to move, to take action. But here we stand at a critical fork in the road, a point where many spiritual seekers stumble. We must understand that not all action is created equal. There are two great currents of action in the universe, and the one you choose to step into will determine whether your journey is an arduous upstream battle or a joyful downstream flow. On one side, you have the frantic, exhausting whitewater of desperate hustle. On the other, you have the clear, powerful, and graceful river of inspired action. Our modern culture glorifies the hustle, the grind, the relentless pursuit. It tells us that success is a war won by brute force. But the masters know that true creation is not a war, it is a dance. And the first step of that dance is learning to distinguish the music of inspiration from the noise of desperation. Let us first deconstruct the energy of desperate hustle. This is the mode of action that arises from a place of fear and lack. It is fueled by the core belief that, if I don't make this happen, it will never happen, or I am running out of time. It is the ego taking the driver's seat, convinced that it must control every variable and force every outcome. The feeling signature of desperate hustle is unmistakable. It is heavy. It feels like a chore, a have to rather than a get to. It is accompanied by a persistent undercurrent of anxiety, a tightness in the chest, a knot in the stomach. It is the energy of pushing a massive boulder up a steep hill. The actions born from this state are often frantic and inefficient. It's sending out 100 generic resumes into the void, making panicked sales calls, constantly checking your phone for a reply, trying to convince people who are clearly not interested, or working yourself to the point of exhaustion without a shred of joy. It is action for the sake of feeling busy, of feeling like you are doing something, but it lacks the magic of alignment. And what is the result? This energy, in its very essence, repels what you seek. It broadcasts a powerful vibration of neediness, which the universe can only match with more experiences of needing and not having. It leads to burnout, frustration, and ultimately, it reinforces the very belief that started it all. That life is hard and you have to struggle for everything you get. Now, let us turn to the other current, the pristine and powerful flow of inspired action. This is the way of the master. The path of least resistance. The energy source of inspired action is not fear, but faith. It comes from a state of alignment, trust, and connection to your higher self. It is born from the core belief that everything is working out for me, and I will be guided to the next perfect step at the perfect time. The feeling signature of inspired action is the polar opposite of the hustle. It is light. It feels easy, exciting, and often completely natural. It doesn't feel like you are pushing a boulder. It feels like you are walking downhill with the wind at your back. It often arrives as a sudden aha moment, a flash of insight, a brilliant idea that seems to download into your mind from out of nowhere. The actions born from this state feel less like a choice and more like an impulse you cannot ignore. It is the sudden urge to go to a specific coffee shop, where you happen to run into a future business partner. It is the unexpected desire to call an old friend, who happens to have the exact piece of information you need. It is waking up one morning and simply knowing the solution to a problem that has plagued you for months. These actions are incredibly precise and powerful. They cut through red tape. They open doors effortlessly. And they lead to cascades of new synchronicities. They feel less like work and more like play, as if you are a treasured piece in a grand cosmic game, being moved by an intelligent and loving hand. To crystallize this difference, imagine your car has run out of gas at the bottom of a steep hill. Desperate hustle is the voice that screams, "You have to get this car to the top." So you get out, put your shoulder to the bumper, and begin the grueling, near impossible task of pushing a 2-ton vehicle up an incline. Every inch is a battle. You are sweating, straining, and filled with a sense of hopeless struggle. This is the attempt to force an outcome using only your own limited physical effort. Now, consider the path of inspired action. In the same situation, you recognize the futility of pushing. You surrender. You sit back in the driver's seat, take a few deep breaths, and get yourself into a state of trust. A moment later, your phone buzzes. It's a friend. They say, "This is the strangest thing, but I just had a sudden thought to call you. Are you anywhere near Elm Street? I just filled up a gas can for my lawnmower and I have way too much. I was just about to pour it out." The inspired action, in this case, is not the Herculean effort of pushing the car. The inspired action is simply to answer the phone and say, yes. It is effortless, elegant, and feels like a miracle. But it was only made possible when the desperate, useless pushing stopped. So, how do you cultivate more of this magic in your life? The prerequisite for inspired action is alignment. Inspired ideas do not come when you are stressed, worried, and frantically trying to figure everything out. Your mind is too full of static. Inspiration arises in the spaces of ease and allowing. This is why our best ideas often come to us in the shower, on a long walk in nature, while listening to music, or in the moments just before we fall asleep. In these moments, we have released our grip on the problem. And in that space, the solution can finally drop in. You must be willing to create these moments of non-resistant space in your day. Furthermore, it is crucial to understand that the universe rarely reveals the entire 10-step plan at once. It operates more like a car's headlights in a dense fog. The headlights do not illuminate the entire journey. They only light up the next 50 feet of road. Your job is not to see the final destination, but to have faith. Get in the car. and drive those 50 feet. Once you have taken that next simple, illuminated step, the headlights will then reveal the next 50 feet, and so on. This requires you to release the need to know the whole plan, and instead, to trust the step-by-step unfolding. You must learn to discern the feeling of a true inspired impulse from an anxious one. An anxious impulse feels urgent, contracted, and fearful. I have to do this now, or everything will fall apart. An inspired impulse, even if it prompts you to act quickly, feels calm, clear, expansive, and often exciting. It is a quiet knowing, not a panicked scream. The bridge, then, that allows you to shift from the paradigm of hustle to the paradigm of inspiration is built from a single, powerful material: trust. You must trust that the universe has a more elegant, efficient, and joyful plan for you than your ego could ever conceive. But to cultivate that deep trust, to be able to sit calmly in the car without pushing, to wait patiently for the divine idea without succumbing to panic, you must master a subtle and paradoxical art. You must learn to hold your desire in your heart, while simultaneously releasing the desperate need for it to manifest in order for you to be happy. You must learn the supreme, liberating power of detachment. We have now arrived at the most subtle, the most paradoxical, and arguably, the most powerful principle in the entire art of creation. This is the master key, the final turn of the dial that shifts creation from an act of effort into an act of grace. It is a concept that may at first seem to contradict everything we have discussed about holding a clear vision and feeling it real. It is the sacred art of detachment. The ultimate paradox is this: to finally receive the thing you desire, you must first be willing to let it go. You must learn the delicate dance of wanting with all your heart, while simultaneously not needing with all your soul. It is in this enlightened state of wanting, without needing, that you become a true magnet for miracles. To understand why detachment is so essential, we must first dissect its opposite, the toxic, repellent energy of neediness. Neediness is more than just a behavior. It is a potent vibrational statement to the universe. When you need something to happen, whether it's a relationship to make you feel loved, a sum of money to make you feel secure, or an achievement to make you feel worthy, you are broadcasting a powerful declaration of your own incompletion. You are saying, I am not whole without this external thing. My happiness, my peace, and my value are located over there, with that person or that outcome. This energy of lack is like a foul odor to the cosmos. As we have learned, the universe is a mirror that reflects your state of being. When you project the feeling of, I need this because I am not enough without it, the universe can only faithfully reflect more experiences that make you feel like you are not enough. Neediness places your desire on a towering pedestal, making it your God, your single source of salvation. This creates a frantic, chasing energy. It is like trying to force the two north poles of a magnet together. The laws of physics decree that they must repel each other. Your desperate need for the thing is the very force that is pushing it away from you. This is where the crucial distinction between detachment and apathy must be made, as this is where many become confused. Apathy, or simply not caring, is a low vibration state. It is born of hopelessness and despair. It is giving up. It is the energy of saying, I don't want anything anymore because it hurts too much to want and not have. This state has no creative power. It is a closed circuit, a declaration of defeat. Detachment, or non-attachment, is the absolute opposite. It is an exceptionally high vibration state born of profound trust and inner wholeness. It is the energy of saying, I would be absolutely delighted to experience this beautiful outcome, and I know that my happiness, my worth, and my peace are completely independent of it. I am whole now. I am joyful now. Detachment finds its source of joy within, making the external manifestation a wonderful bonus rather than a desperate requirement. Think of a master artist painting a masterpiece. She has a clear vision for the painting and pours her passion into it. But her ultimate joy is found in the creative process, the feel of the brush, the mixing of the colors, the flow state of creation. She is detached from the final applause because the reward was in the act itself. This is the state you must cultivate in relation to your desires. Fall in love with the feeling of your own wholeness, and the universe will rush to bring you experiences that match it. There is no better metaphor for this principle than the act of trying to catch a butterfly. Imagine you are in a beautiful, sun-drenched garden, and you see the most exquisite butterfly you have ever witnessed. Its wings are a tapestry of iridescent blue and gold. You decide you must possess it. You grab a net and begin the chase. You lunge, you leap, and you swipe at the air. The more frantic and desperate your movements become, the more erratically the butterfly flits and darts, always just beyond your grasp. Your very desperation creates a chaotic turbulence in the air that repels the delicate creature. Finally, you collapse in exhaustion, frustrated and empty-handed. This is the energy of neediness and attachment. Now, imagine a different approach. You see the same beautiful butterfly. You admire its beauty, and you have the gentle preference that it might come closer. But instead of chasing it, you decide to become a flower. You sit still in the garden. You turn your attention inward. You cultivate your own inner beauty, your own fragrance, your own nectar. You become a peaceful, centered, and inviting presence. The butterfly, going about its journey, is naturally drawn to your beautiful, stable, and nourishing energy without any effort on your part. It gently drifts toward you and alights on your outstretched hand. You did not catch it, you attracted it. Your job is not to chase your desires through the garden of life. Your job is to become the energetic flower that they cannot resist. This entire alchemical process can be summarized in a simple, three-part formula for allowing. Step 1. Hold a crystal. Clear intention. This is the part we have discussed. Know what you want and why you want it. Be specific. Be bold. This is you choosing the butterfly you would like to attract. Step 2. Emotionally and vibrationally inhabit the wish fulfilled. This is you becoming the flower. You use your creative power to feel it. Right now, the joy, peace, and gratitude of the person who already has what you desire. This aligns your energy with the desire itself. Step 3. Radically and completely release the outcome. This is the master step. This is you sitting still in the garden and trusting the process. You surrender the how, the when, and the where to the infinite intelligence of the universe. You genuinely adopt the attitude of this, or something better, for the highest good of all. You stop looking for it. You stop checking on its progress. You stop wondering when it will arrive. You release it with the same faith you have that the sun will rise tomorrow. It is this final act of release, this profound gesture of trust, that opens all the channels and allows the universe to orchestrate the most magical, efficient, and unexpected delivery. But how do you cultivate this unshakable trust? Especially when you desire something so deeply. You do it by embedding 2 core truths into your being until they become your default operating system. The first is, what is truly meant for you will never pass you by. If a desire is in true alignment with your soul's journey, the universe will move heaven and earth to bring it to you, often in ways you could never have predicted. There is no need to strive or worry. The second truth is, rejection is always divine protection or redirection. If a specific door does not open, it is not because you have failed or are unworthy. It is because the loving intelligence of the universe knows what is on the other side of that door is not for your highest good. It is mercifully protecting you and simultaneously clearing a path for a door that leads to something far more magnificent than you had been asking for. When you live in this state of absolute trust, every no becomes a thank you for protecting me, and every perceived delay becomes a thank you for preparing me for something even better. This profound state of trust and detachment doesn't arise from willpower alone. It is powerfully supported by a conscious decision about where you place your most precious resource. To be at peace with the miraculous unfolding of your life, you must become the absolute master of your own focus. You must learn the art of consciously crafting your experience by choosing, moment by moment, where you place the powerful lens of your attention. We stand now at the command center of your reality, before the very console that directs the most valuable and potent currency you possess. In a world of infinite distraction, of endless notifications and competing demands, your single greatest power is not your time, your money, or your strength. It is the power of your focused attention. There is a fundamental law of consciousness that states, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, that part of your reality grows. To become the architect of your life, you must cease being a passive observer whose attention is pulled in 1,000 directions by external circumstance, and become a conscious director, deliberately choosing where to shine the powerful spotlight of your mind. For in that focused beam of attention lies the very seed of creation. To grasp the magnitude of this power, we must first understand the concept of the reality tunnel, a term coined by the brilliant writer and philosopher Robert Anton Wilson. The idea is that there is no single, objective, capital R reality that everyone experiences. Instead, there are billions of unique individual realities. Each one of us experiences life through a subjective reality tunnel that is constructed from our unique set of beliefs, memories, cultural conditioning, and most importantly, our habitual patterns of focus. Imagine two people walking down the exact same city street. The first person is an architect. Her reality tunnel is calibrated to notice structure, design, and form. She sees the elegant cornices on the old buildings, the patterns in the brickwork, the structural integrity of a new skyscraper. She experiences a reality of human ingenuity and history. The second person is a botanist. His reality tunnel is calibrated to notice life and nature. On that very same street, he sees the resilient wildflowers pushing through cracks in the pavement, the specific species of moss growing on a damp wall, the way the city trees bend toward the sunlight. He experiences a reality of natural persistence and organic beauty. They both walked the same physical path, but they inhabited entirely different worlds. The profound and liberating truth of the reality tunnel is that you are its architect. By consciously choosing what you focus on, you can fundamentally change the reality you experience, even if your external circumstances remain the same for a time. With this understanding, we must confront a deeply ingrained human habit, the obsessive tendency to focus on what is wrong. We dedicate the vast majority of our precious creative attention to our problems. We ruminate on past hurts. We complain to our friends about what is lacking in our lives. We watch the news and marinate in global fears. And we run catastrophic scenarios about the future in our minds. Let us use the metaphor of a garden. Your life is a garden containing both beautiful flowers and unwanted weeds. Your focused attention is the watering can. Every time you complain about your debt, you are diligently watering the weed of lack. Every time you gossip about someone else's drama, you are fertilizing the weed of conflict. Every time you fixate on a physical symptom and worry about what it might mean, you are pouring life-giving energy directly onto the weed of illness. You may think you are simply being realistic or venting, but from an energetic perspective, you are actively engaging in an act of negative creation. The universe, in its impartiality, does not distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It only registers what you are focused on. By pouring the powerful energy of your attention onto the weeds, you are sending a clear command. More of this, please. And the universe, being an obedient servant, faithfully helps that weed grow bigger, stronger, and more deeply rooted in the soil of your life. The first step in crafting a new reality is to make a conscious decision to stop watering the weeds. You have already experienced this principle in action, perhaps without realizing its significance. Consider the red car effect. Have you ever decided you were interested in buying a particular model of car? Say, a red convertible. You may not have seen one for months, but the moment you make that decision and begin to focus on it, they suddenly appear everywhere. You see one on the highway, another in a parking lot, a third one in a movie you're watching. It feels as if the world has been flooded with red convertibles overnight. But of course, the number of red convertibles in the world has not changed at all. What changed was the programming of your internal filter. By placing your focused attention on that target, you gave a new instruction to your brain's reticular activating system. You told it, "This is now important. Bring this into my awareness." And it diligently followed your command, sifting through billions of bits of sensory data to highlight the very thing you focused on. This is not a cute mental trick. This is the fundamental mechanic of manifestation. This is proof that your focus alters your perception of reality. Now, imagine applying this same effect with conscious intention. Imagine deciding to focus not on a red car, but on evidence of abundance. You would suddenly start noticing coins on the street, unexpected discounts, gifts from friends, and opportunities you were previously blind to. Imagine focusing on kindness and suddenly seeing gestures of compassion and generosity everywhere. The abundance and kindness were always there. You simply had to tune your attention to their frequency to bring them into your reality tunnel. The practical application of this is the art of the pivot. The pivot is a conscious, in-the-moment redirection of your attention. It is not about spiritual bypassing or pretending problems don't exist. It is about acknowledging the unwanted reality for a brief moment, and then deliberately and firmly placing your focus on the reality you wish to create. It is a mental discipline that, like any exercise, grows stronger with practice. When you catch yourself thinking, "I hate being so broke," acknowledge the thought, and then pivot. And what I am now focusing on is the feeling of financial ease. I am celebrating all the abundance I currently have, even the air I breathe and the sun on my skin. I am tuning myself to the frequency of security and prosperity. When you feel a physical pain and start to worry, pivot. I acknowledge this sensation, and I am now pouring all of my loving attention on the parts of my body that feel strong, healthy, and vibrant. I am focusing on the feeling of wholeness and well-being. When you feel a pang of loneliness, pivot. I am now focusing on generating a feeling of love and contentment within myself. I am becoming a source of the love I wish to receive, enjoying my own company and radiating warmth. Each pivot is a declaration of your power. Each pivot is you taking the watering can away from the weeds and pouring it onto the flowers. This conscious command of your focus is one of the highest and most rewarding forms of spiritual work. It is you, in real time, sculpting your experience of life. However, we are human, and there will be moments when the mind is too chaotic, the emotional storm too intense, and the simple act of pivoting feels like an insurmountable struggle. In these moments of overwhelm, forcing a positive thought can feel inauthentic and create even more resistance. For these times, there is a different, more graceful path. It involves not a forceful redirection of focus, but a gentle cessation of it. It requires you to consciously create a space, a gap in the relentless stream of thought, allowing the static to clear and a higher intelligence to emerge. It is the sacred and restorative practice of the quantum pause. You have learned to wield the power of your attention, to consciously direct the spotlight of your mind away from the weeds of lack and onto the flowers of your desire. This is a vital and active form of creation. But now, we must explore a complementary power, a state of being that is equally, if not more, creative. It is a power found not in directing your focus, but in releasing it altogether. We live in a world that worships at the altar of busyness, We wear our exhaustion as a badge of honor and see a full calendar as a sign of a full life. But this constant state of doing, of thinking, of analyzing and planning, creates an immense amount of energetic static. It is a constant noise that drowns out the subtle whispers of intuition, the gentle nudges of inspiration, and the quiet voice of the soul. The most revolutionary act you can perform in this modern world is to consciously and deliberately do nothing. It is to create a space in your life and in your mind for the universe to step in. This is the sacred, creative power of the quantum pause. At every moment, your mind is producing a relentless stream of thoughts, a chattering internal monologue that has been called the monkey mind. It jumps from past regrets to future worries, from to-do lists to random memories. In a ceaseless flow, we have become so identified with this stream that we believe we are our thoughts. The single greatest spiritual breakthrough is the realization that this is not true. You are not the thoughts, you are the silent, spacious awareness that is observing the thoughts. And between every two thoughts, there is a gap. It may be infinitesimally small, but it is there. A space of pure, silent, untroubled consciousness. This gap, this stillness, is not empty. It is the womb of all creation. It is the unmanifest field of pure potential, the quantum field from which all things emerge. In this silence lies every possible solution, every brilliant invention, every beautiful poem, and every miracle you have ever sought. The goal of a conscious creator is not necessarily to have better thoughts, but to become more familiar with this space between thoughts. For it is from this fertile void that all true power arises. This is the true purpose of meditation, a practice often misunderstood as an attempt to forcefully stop thinking. To try and force your mind to be silent is just another form of struggle, another battle you are destined to lose. It is like trying to flatten the waves of an ocean with a hammer. The true art of meditation is to simply change your relationship with your thoughts. It is the practice of becoming a gentle, curious, and non-judgmental observer. Imagine you are sitting peacefully on the bank of a river. The river is your stream of consciousness, and the thoughts are like leaves, twigs, and boats floating by. Your practice is simply to watch them pass. You don't jump into the river to chase after a particularly interesting boat. You don't throw rocks at a leaf you don't like. You simply sit, and you watch, and you breathe. When you realize you have gotten lost and have been swept downstream by a thought which you will thousands of times, you do not scold yourself. You simply and gently guide your awareness back to the riverbank, back to your breath, back to the stillness. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your awareness muscle. You are reclaiming your power from the compulsive, habitual thinking mind and identifying with the vast, silent awareness that is your true nature. Consider the metaphor of a mountain lake. When the wind is blowing and a storm is passing through, the surface of the lake is turbulent, choppy, and opaque. In this state of agitation, it cannot produce a clear reflection. You see only a chaotic, distorted, and fragmented version of the sky and the surrounding mountains. This is the human mind in its typical state of busyness, worry, and overthinking. It is too agitated to perceive reality or divine intelligence clearly. Now, imagine that same lake at dawn. In a moment of perfect calm, the wind has ceased. The air is still. The surface of the water becomes like a flawless sheet of polished glass. In this state of profound stillness, it can now perfectly reflect the boundless expanse of the sky above, the vibrant colors of the rising sun, the breathtaking detail of every single leaf on every tree along the shore. The lake itself has not changed. Its substance is the same. It has simply become still. Your mind is this lake. The wisdom, the solutions, the beauty, and the miracles you seek are the sky. Always present, always available. They can only be reflected, and therefore perceived, in a mind that has learned the art of stillness. While formal meditation is a powerful practice for cultivating this inner quiet, you can access its magic throughout your day with a simple tool, the quantum pause. This is the deliberate act of inserting a moment of conscious stillness between an external stimulus and your habitual response. For example, someone says something that triggers an emotional reaction in you. The unconscious, conditioned response is to immediately react, to lash out in anger, to retreat in fear, or to become defensive. This is the path of the puppet, being pulled by the strings of past programming. The quantum pause is the act of taking one single, conscious, deep breath before you speak or act. In that 1 second, that sacred gap, you sever the strings of reactivity. You create a space, and in that space, you are no longer a reactor. You are a creator. You have the freedom to choose your response. You can choose a response aligned with your higher self-own of kindness, of understanding, of wisdom, of peace. Applying this simple pause before you answer an email, before you respond to your children, before you make a financial decision, can single-handedly revolutionize every area of your life. It is the practice that shifts you from being a human doing, constantly reacting to the world, to a human being, consciously creating your experience from a place of centered peace. This stillness, this sacred pause, is not an empty or dead state. It is a state of profound vitality and unlimited potential. It is the fertile ground from which all things grow. When you intentionally create moments of silence in your mind, you are allowing the frantic energy of the ego to settle. And in that quiet, you create the perfect internal environment for the most powerful, transformative, and magnetic emotion of all to blossom. When the waters of the mind are calm, you can finally feel your intrinsic connection to all that is. You can feel a sense of awe for the simple miracle of your own breath, for the life that surrounds you. From this space of being, one feeling arises more naturally and powerfully than any other. You create the perfect conditions for gratitude. From the sacred stillness of the quantum pause, a singular, powerful emotion emerges, not by force, but as a natural blossoming. It is the fragrance of an aligned soul. This emotion, more than any other, is the master key to a miraculous life, the universal solvent that dissolves resistance, and the single fastest way to change your vibrational frequency from one of lack to one of overflowing abundance. It is the currency of the cosmos itself. We speak, of course, of gratitude. If you were to take only one practice from our entire journey together, let it be this one. For within the simple act of genuine appreciation lies the power to reshape your world. Gratitude is the ultimate multiplier, the ultimate amplifier, and the ultimate shortcut to bringing your desires from the realm of the unseen into the realm of the seen. To understand its immense power, we must look at its energetic mechanics. Gratitude is the polar opposite of lack. It is a fundamental law of consciousness that you cannot feel genuinely grateful and feel a sense of lack in the very same moment. The two vibrations are mutually exclusive. They cancel each other out. When you are complaining, worrying, or focusing on what is missing from your life, you are inhabiting a low, contracted frequency. When you are feeling gratitude, you are instantly elevated to a high, expansive frequency. In that moment of true appreciation, you are sending a powerful, unambiguous signal to the universe. That signal does not say, "I am hoping for," or "I am wishing for." It says, with calm and confident finality, "I have received. I am blessed. I am taken care of." And the great law of the universe, which states that like attracts like, must then bring you more experiences, people, and circumstances that match the feeling of being blessed and taken care of. Gratitude closes the energetic gap between you and your desire. Wanting something implies separation. It is a declaration that you and the object of your desire are in two different places. Gratitude implies union. It is a declaration that you and your desire are already in the same place. That you are one. It is the claiming of your good. Vibrationally, before it has fully materialized, it is crucial. However, to shift your understanding of gratitude from a chore to a state of being, many of us are taught to treat gratitude like a mundane to-do list item. We might quickly jot down 3 things we're grateful for at the end of the day. A practice which, while beneficial, can often lack the deep, resonant feeling that truly works magic. True gratitude is not a task you perform, it is an atmosphere you inhabit. It is a conscious choice to tune your perception to the frequency of wonder. It is feeling a wave of genuine thankfulness for the hot water in your shower, for the intricate miracle of your body that functions without your command, for the taste of your morning coffee, for the comfort of your bed. It is walking outside and feeling a surge of appreciation for the blue of the sky, the warmth of the sun, or the sound of birdsong. It is looking at the people in your life and focusing not on their flaws, but on the love and connection they bring. It is an active, ongoing practice of finding the sublime in the seemingly ordinary, of seeing the world not through eyes of criticism, but through eyes of awe. A powerful way to cultivate this state is to engage in what the teachings of Abraham Hicks call a rampage of appreciation. This is an active exercise in building grateful momentum. You start with something simple, something right in front of you. You look at a pen on your desk. I love this pen. I appreciate its simple design, the way it feels in my hand. I am so grateful for the ink that flows from it, allowing me to translate my thoughts into written word. I am grateful for the thoughts themselves, for the mind that produces them. Then you allow that feeling to expand. I am so grateful for this desk that supports my work, for the chair that holds me comfortably. I am grateful for the light in this room that allows me to see, for the electricity that powers it. You keep going, letting one appreciative thought lead to the next, building a crescendo of positive feeling. I am so grateful for my body, for my lungs that breathe for me, for my heart that has been beating faithfully for me every second of my life. I am grateful for my friends, my family, for the love I have given and received. As you engage in this rampage, you can feel your energy shifting, your vibration soaring. In this elevated state, you move from being a supplicant, asking for blessings, to becoming a living, breathing beacon of blessing itself. A magnetic force that good things cannot help but be drawn to. Consider this simple analogy. Imagine you have 2 friends. The first friend complains constantly. Every time you speak, they recount their problems, bemoan their bad luck, and subtly blame the world for their unhappiness. The second friend is a fountain of appreciation. They thank you sincerely for even the smallest kindnesses. They frequently tell you how much they value your presence in their life. They see the good in situations and express gratitude for their blessings, no matter how small. Now, ask yourself honestly, which friend are you more likely to want to help? Which friend would you be more excited to give a gift to? To whom would you be more inclined to offer a wonderful opportunity? The answer is obvious. You are naturally drawn to give more to the one who appreciates what they already have. The universe operates on precisely the same principle. It is a loving and infinitely generous friend. When you complain, you are pushing its gifts away. When you express genuine gratitude, you are opening the floodgates and inviting the universe to shower you with more. The most advanced and potent form of this practice is the art of giving gratitude in advance. This is the ultimate act of faith. It is the practice of being thankful for the things you desire as if you have already received them. It is standing in your present reality and saying, with sincere emotion, "Thank you, universe, for the incredible financial abundance that is flowing into my life with ease and grace. Thank you for my strong, vibrant, and healthy body. Thank you for bringing my perfect, loving partner to me." This technique is so powerful because it masterfully combines 2 essential creative elements. First, It completely solidifies your belief. By giving thanks, you are declaring that your desire is not a distant hope, it is a done deal, a concluded matter. Second, it generates the exact emotional frequency of the wish already fulfilled, tuning your entire being to the vibration of receiving. It is one of the clearest and most powerful signals you can possibly send. When you arm yourself with this profound spiritual technology, the clarity of your intention, the power of your focus, the fuel of your emotions, and above all, the divine multiplier of gratitude, you become a creator of the highest order. You are consciously and joyfully aligning yourself with the very forces that create worlds. And yet, even for the most masterful creator, there is a rhythm to the physical dimension. There is an inertia, a sacred buffer of time and space. There can be a pause between the moment you achieve perfect inner alignment and the moment you hold your manifestation in your hands. To navigate this final, crucial stage of the journey without losing your faith or your vibration, it is essential that you understand the divine purpose of this delay. You must learn to make peace with the reality lag. You have now assembled a profound arsenal of creative tools. You have learned to surrender, to harness the power of your thoughts and feelings, to practice gratitude, and to act on inspiration. You are vibrating at a new frequency, sending a clear and powerful signal into the cosmos. You have done the work, and now you wait. It is in this waiting, in this pregnant pause between your inner alignment and its outer manifestation, that many journeys come to a halt. This is the final frontier of faith, the space where doubt loves to creep in and poison the seeds you have so lovingly planted. This is the reality lag, and your ability to navigate this period with grace and trust is what separates the casual wisher from the master creator. It is crucial to understand that this delay is not a sign that you have failed or that the universe has ignored you. It is a fundamental, benevolent, and absolutely necessary feature of the creative process in this physical dimension. To grasp this, we must first understand the nature of our reality. The non-physical realm of thought, emotion, and vibration is fluid, light, and instantaneous. The moment you shift your feeling state, you have instantly changed your reality on an energetic level. But the physical world, the world of form and matter, has density. It has inertia. It is like a colossal ocean liner moving through the sea. When the captain on the bridge turns the wheel to chart a new course, the massive ship does not pivot on a dime. There is a delay. It takes time for the powerful engines to respond, for the rudder to take hold, and for the ship's immense momentum to shift in the new direction. Your new vibration, your new state of being, is you turning the wheel. The physical world, with all its intricate, moving parts, is the ocean liner. It has to take time to respond to your new command. This buffer of time is, in fact, a magnificent gift, a cosmic safety net. Imagine if every fleeting thought you had instantly manifested. A passing moment of anger could cause a car crash. A flash of fear could create a real danger. The reality lag protects you from your own vibrational wobbles. It gives you a space to stabilize your new frequency before it crystallizes into form. This divine delay is not a passive waiting period. It is a sacred and active phase of creation. And it offers you several profound gifts. The first is the gift of clarity. Sometimes, in the heat of a desire, we are not entirely sure of all the details. The waiting period gives you time to refine your request. You might have asked for a specific job, but in the space of the lag, you realize what you truly desire is the feeling of creative freedom and financial security, and that the job you asked for might not have provided it. This pause allows you to adjust your order with the universe, to ask for something even better, something more aligned with your soul's true calling. The second is the gift of growth. The universe will not give you a desire that you are not yet a vibrational match for. If you wish to be a confident and successful leader, you must first become that person on the inside. The reality lag is your training ground. It is the period where life presents you with opportunities to practice being the person you want to become, to build the character, the resilience, and the faith required to hold your new reality once it arrives. The most powerful story to illustrate this principle is that of the Chinese bamboo farmer. When the farmer plants a seed for this remarkable type of bamboo, he must water it, fertilize it, and tend to the soil every single day for the first year. At the end of the year, he sees no visible result. There is no sprout, no shoot, no evidence of life. He continues this patient labor for a second year, and still, nothing. The third year passes, and then the fourth, with the ground remaining as barren as the day he started. His neighbors, who are planting fast-growing crops, might mock him, telling him he is a fool for wasting his effort on infertile soil. The farmer must hold his faith against all outside evidence, against all logic, and against the doubt of those around him. Then, sometime during the fifth year, something miraculous occurs. A tiny green shoot finally pokes through the earth, and in a breathtaking display of life force, the bamboo tree skyrockets to over 90 feet tall in a period of just 6 weeks. The question is, did the bamboo tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Of course not. It grew for 5 years. For 4 of those years, while the surface remained barren, all the growth was happening underground. It was building a vast, powerful, and intricate root system, a foundation strong enough to support its incredible, rapid, upward expansion. Your manifestation is this bamboo tree. The reality lag is the period where your spiritual roots are growing. It is the time where your faith, your trust, and your new state of being are anchoring themselves deep into the soil of your consciousness, creating a foundation strong enough to hold the miracle that is on its way. So how do you navigate this period of underground growth? This is the ultimate test of your faith. The universe is lovingly asking you, do you truly believe in what you cannot yet see? Will you hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled even when your current reality presents you with contradictory evidence? Or will you abandon your faith and revert to your old state of doubt at the first sign of a challenge? Your only work during this time is to maintain your alignment. It is to continue living as if. It is to wake up each day and practice the feeling of gratitude for a reality that is still just beyond the veil of visibility. When you look at your bank account and it doesn't reflect the abundance you have claimed, you must have the discipline to say, I see this, but it is the old reality dissolving. My focus is on the abundance that is on its way. When doubt creeps in, as it surely will, you do not fight it. You acknowledge it. You thank it for trying to protect you. And then you gently return your focus to your vision. You reread your synchronicity journal to remember all the times the universe has winked at you. You listen to uplifting music. You go for a walk in nature. You do whatever it takes to recapture the feeling of your desire being a present tense reality. This is not about being perfect in your faith, but about being persistent in your return to it. This process of the old reality dissolving to make way for the new is not always a smooth and gentle fading. As the foundations of your old world begin to crumble, as the soil of your life is being tilled to make way for the bamboo shoot, some contrasting or negative experiences may surface. You might lose a job just before a better one appears. A relationship might end to make space for your soulmate. These events are not a sign that your creation is failing. On the contrary, they are often a powerful confirmation that things are moving. They are the demolition of the old structure before the new construction can begin. And these moments of contrast themselves have a profound and powerful purpose on your journey. As you stand in the sacred waiting period, tending to the roots of your faith while your manifestation grows unseen, your journey will not always be a straight line of blissful positivity. The physical world is a realm of duality. And as the old structures of your reality begin to dissolve, you may encounter moments of friction, of challenge, of what you have been conditioned to label as negative experiences. A sudden bill may appear, A relationship may become tense. A plan may fall through. The immediate, instinctual reaction for most is panic. It's not working, the ego screams. I'm failing, I must be doing something wrong. But here, we must pause, breathe, and introduce one of the most liberating truths of a consciously created life. There is no such thing as a truly negative experience. Every event, without exception, serves a divine purpose. These moments of contrast are not punishments, nor are they signs of your failure. They are misunderstood messengers, sacred and powerful clarification tools sent by a benevolent universe to help you, not to hinder you. At the very heart of our universe is the principle of polarity. Nothing can exist without its opposite. You cannot know the concept of up without a concept of down. You cannot appreciate warmth without the experience of cold. You cannot recognize light without having known darkness. This same immutable law applies to your desires. You cannot form a passionate, crystal-clear desire for something without the raw material of its opposite. It is the bitter taste of sickness that gives birth to a fierce and passionate desire for vibrant health. It is the constricting grip of debt and lack that forges a powerful, unwavering desire for financial freedom and abundance. It is the painful sting of loneliness or a toxic relationship that clarifies, with absolute precision, the kind of deep, authentic, and loving partnership your soul truly craves. From this perspective, contrast is not the enemy of creation. It is the very engine of creation. It is the sculptor's chisel that carves away what you are not, revealing the masterpiece of who you are becoming. It is the loving pressure that gives birth to a more expanded, more beautiful, and more specific version of your dream. Without it, you would have no new desires, no reason to grow, and no journey of expansion to embark upon. The teachings of Abraham Hicks offer a powerful metaphor to help you understand this dynamic process. Every time you encounter a moment of contrast, every time you experience something you do not like, a part of your being automatically launches a rocket of desire for its opposite. This is not something you have to do consciously. It is an automatic, instantaneous spiritual reflex. The moment that person is rude to you, a rocket of desire for kind and respectful interactions is launched. The moment you feel the stress of that unexpected bill, a rocket of desire for financial ease and overflow is launched. These rockets shoot off into the non-physical realm, into your vibrational escrow, where they are immediately received and held for you by the universe. The new, improved version of your reality is instantly created on an energetic level. The problem is not in the launching of the rocket. That part is flawless. The problem is that after launching this magnificent rocket toward a new and better reality, most people remain standing on the launch pad, staring at the smoke and complaining about the noise. They launch a rocket for health, and then spend the rest of the day talking about their illness. They launch a rocket for a joyful career, and then spend hours complaining about their current boss. They are facing in the opposite direction of their own desire, and then wondering why it never arrives. The conscious creator learns to use the energy of the launch in a new way. They learn to ask the great alchemical question that turns the lead of a negative experience into the gold of a clarified desire. When faced with an unwanted circumstance, instead of sinking into the story of, "Why is this happening to me?" or "This is terrible," you must train yourself to ask a new question. "This is uncomfortable, and I do not prefer it. So, what does this experience now make me want with greater clarity?" This question is a pivot of power. It instantly shifts you from the disempowered state of a victim to the empowered state of a creator. Let's say you receive a rejection from a job you thought you wanted. The old response is disappointment, self-doubt, and fear. The new response is to feel the initial sting, and then to ask the alchemical question, "Okay, this rejection has clarified my desire. It has shown me that I want a position with even more creative freedom. It has shown me that I want to work with a team that is even more aligned with my values. Thank you. experience, for helping me refine my target. In that moment, you have not been defeated. You have been upgraded. You have used the raw material of a supposed failure to build a more precise and more passionate blueprint for your true success. This is how contrast functions as an integral part of your emotional guidance system. A negative experience is simply feedback. It is the universe lovingly holding up a mirror and saying, "The vibrational patterns you have been offering have led to this result. Is this what you want?" If the answer is no, there is no need for blame or despair. The only response required is, "Thank you for the feedback. Now I know with even greater certainty what I do want to create. It is time to recalibrate my vibration." This turns every mistake into a lesson, and every failure into a valuable data point. There are no wrong turns on this journey, only course corrections that lead you to an ever more refined and beautiful destination. Every stumble, every challenge, every tear is a sacred part of the path. Each one serving to make your desire stronger, your vision clearer, and your faith deeper. This ability to find the gift in the wound, the opportunity in the obstacle, and the new desire in the disappointment is a hallmark of spiritual maturity. It requires a profound letting go of the need to label your experiences as good or bad, and instead, to see them all as simply useful. But this enlightened perspective is often blocked by a powerful force within our own consciousness. It is blocked by the part of us that loves to be right, that thrives on drama, that identifies as a victim, and that resists what is. To truly and consistently embrace contrast as the guiding force it is, we must turn our attention inward once more and meet this master of resistance face to face. We must begin to understand and dissolve the grip of the ego. We have arrived at the very heart of the human condition, the source of nearly all resistance, suffering, and self-sabotage. We have learned to see contrast as a gift. But there is a part of you that refuses to accept this, a part that loves to judge, to complain, to feel victimized, and to argue with reality. It is the voice in your head, the incessant narrator of your life. For most of your life, you have believed that you are this voice. The most profound liberation comes from realizing that you are not. This voice is the ego, the mind-made self. And to find true freedom and creative power, you must learn to observe it without being controlled by it. You must ask the ultimate question: who is the one who wants? The ego is not an evil entity. It is a conditioned mechanism of the mind, a survival tool that has outlived much of its usefulness. It is the sense of me that is constructed from your personal history. It is a mosaic of your memories, your name, your roles in life: parent, child, artist, executive, your possessions, your achievements, your nationality, your beliefs, and most powerfully, your grievances. The ego is a phantom self, a story the mind tells itself about who you are, because it is a construct of the past. Its greatest fear is the present moment, the now, where it cannot exist. Its second greatest fear is the future, which represents uncertainty and its own potential demise. Therefore, it compulsively drags your attention into dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Its entire identity is built on a sense of separation: versus you, us versus them. This is why it loves to be right, to compare, to complain, and to find fault. Conflict strengthens the ego's sense of boundaries and makes it feel more real. Peace and stillness are a threat to its very existence. Understanding this allows us to discern between two very different kinds of desire: the wants of the ego and the calling of the soul, or your true self. An egoic desire has a distinct, contracted, and needy quality. It is always about getting something external to fill a perceived hole within you. The ego's mantra is "I need," and it is always followed by a "so that." I need that promotion so that I will finally feel important. I need that person's approval so that I will know I am worthy. I need that luxury car so that others will see that I am successful. It is a desire born from a sense of lack. Even when you achieve an egoic desire, the satisfaction is fleeting, because the underlying feeling of not enough remains, and the ego simply moves on to the next thing it needs. A desire from your true self, however, feels entirely different. It is expansive, joyful, and creative. It is not about getting something to fix a deficiency. It is about expressing a fullness that is already present within you. It is about contribution and flow. I desire to write this book because the act of creating and sharing brings me profound joy. I desire to start this company because it is a vehicle through which I can serve others and express my unique talents. I desire a loving partnership because it will be a beautiful space to express the infinite love that I already am. The joy of a soul calling is in the doing, not in the outcome. The spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle provides a perfect metaphor for understanding this dynamic. Imagine you are in a dark theater, watching a suspenseful movie. The story is so gripping that you have become completely lost in it. When the hero is in peril, your heart pounds, your muscles tense, and you feel genuine fear. When a sad event occurs, you feel real tears welling up in your eyes. In this state, you have completely forgotten who you are. You have forgotten that you are sitting in a comfortable chair, perfectly safe. You have become one with the character on the screen. This is the normal state of human consciousness, completely identified with the character of me in the movie of my life. This character, with its personal story of struggle and triumph, is the ego. Now, imagine that in the middle of the most intense scene, a part of you suddenly wakes up. You become aware of your own breathing. You feel the chair beneath you. You see the screen as a screen. You are aware of the character, but you are now also aware of yourself as the silent, calm, and detached observer who is watching the movie. You can still appreciate the drama and the beauty of the story, but you are no longer at its mercy. You are no longer lost in the illusion. This silent watcher, this spacious awareness, is your true self. The entire spiritual journey is about learning to spend more and more of your time as the watcher in the theater, rather than the frantic character on the screen. This process of disidentifying from the ego is not a battle. It is a gentle and loving act of awareness. The first and most powerful practice is simply to start noticing the voice in your head. Listen to it as if you were listening to the voice of a stranger. Notice its repetitive patterns, its favorite complaints, its go-to fears. Do not judge it. Do not argue with it. Simply notice it. The very moment you become aware of the thinker, you have created a space between you, the awareness, and the thought. In that space lies your freedom. You realize the thought is just a thought, a transient flicker of energy passing through your consciousness. It is not who you are. You can also practice this with your emotions. The ego has an emotional component, what Tolle calls the pain body, an accumulation of all the old, unresolved emotional pain from your past. When it gets activated, instead of saying, "I am angry," you can learn to say, "I notice the feeling of anger is arising within me." This simple linguistic shift prevents the emotion from taking you over completely. You are the sky, and the emotion is just a weather pattern passing through. Finally, you can dissolve the ego by surrendering to the present moment. The ego's primary function is to resist and argue with what is. The practice is to, whenever possible, say an inner yes to the reality of this moment, even if you do not prefer it. This radical acceptance of what is short-circuits the ego's resistance and allows a deeper intelligence and peace to emerge. As you practice this art of observing your mind, of disidentifying from your thoughts and emotions, you begin to sense that the you who is watching is not just a small, personal self. You begin to feel a connection to a vast, still, and intelligent presence that lies beyond the confines of your personal story. By learning to transcend the limitations of the individual ego, you open a doorway to an awareness that is not just yours, but is shared by all of life. you become ready to move beyond your personal reality tunnel and begin to tap into the immense, interconnected field of energy from which all things are born. You become ready to explore the power of the collective consciousness. As you become more adept at observing the ego, at witnessing the chattering mind from a place of silent awareness, a profound shift occurs. The rigid walls of the separate self, the construct of me and my story, begin to soften and become porous. In that softening, you do not find a void of nothingness. You discover an ocean of everything. You begin to sense that the consciousness witnessing your thoughts is the same fundamental consciousness witnessing the thoughts of every other person on the planet. This is your entry point into a realm of immense power and interconnectedness. You are moving beyond the limitations of the personal mind and learning to tap into the vast, energetic reservoir of shared human experience known as the collective consciousness. It is the realization that you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a single drop. What is this collective consciousness? Think of it as an invisible, energetic atmosphere that surrounds and permeates everything. It is the sum total of every thought, every emotion, every belief, every triumph, and every trauma ever experienced by humanity, past and present. It is a psychic internet to which we are all subconsciously connected, a great cosmic database of human experience. The scientist Rupert Sheldrake called it the morphic field, a non-local repository of memory and habit for each species. The psychologist Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious, the deep layer of the psyche that houses the universal symbols and archetypes that appear in the myths and dreams of all cultures. Quantum physics hints at it with the principle of entanglement, where two particles, once connected, remain mysteriously linked, mirroring each other's state instantly, regardless of the distance separating them. The most intuitive analogy is that of a forest. On the surface, each tree appears to be a separate, individual entity, but if you were to look underground, you would find a vast, intricate network of roots and mycelium, a subterranean web that connects every single tree. Through this network, the trees share nutrients, send warning signals about predators, and communicate in a language we are only just beginning to understand. Humanity is this forest. On the surface, we appear as separate individuals. Underground, in the unseen realm of consciousness, we are all intrinsically and irrevocably connected. This connection is a double-edged sword, and navigating it consciously is a vital skill for any creator. Just as this field contains the highest frequencies of love, genius, and enlightenment, it also contains the dense, heavy frequencies of humanity's accumulated fear, doubt, and negativity. This is the energy of mass consciousness, the gravitational pull of the status quo that resists change and fears the unknown. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of anxiety or sadness wash over you for no discernible personal reason? You may very well be tapping into the collective mood, feeling the psychic weather of the world. During times of global crisis, political turmoil, or widespread panic, often amplified by a 24-hour news cycle, this collective field can become thick with the energy of fear. If you are not energetically sovereign, you can easily get swept up in this tide, finding your own vibration lowered and your faith eroded by the ambient psychic static. This is why protecting your energy field is not a selfish act, but a necessary one. It means consciously choosing what you allow into your mind. It means limiting your exposure to fear-based media. It means practicing grounding techniques, like walking barefoot on the earth, to stabilize your own electrical system. It means setting a clear intention each morning to be a lighthouse to hold your own frequency of peace and trust, steady and unwavering, regardless of the stormy seas of the collective around you. Conversely, just as you can be pulled down by collective fear, you can intentionally tap into the highest frequencies of collective genius, success, and creativity. Every brilliant idea ever conceived, every masterpiece ever painted, every act of profound courage ever performed, has left an energetic imprint in this field. This frequency is available to you. Right now, you can consciously attune yourself to it. When you immerse yourself in the biography of someone you deeply admire, you are not just reading words on a page. You are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of their mindset, their resilience, their triumphs. When you listen to a piece of music that uplifts your soul, you are resonating with the frequency of inspiration that the composer tapped into. This is why mastermind groups and surrounding yourself with people who are playing a bigger game than you are so incredibly powerful. You are entering into a shared resonant field, a mini collective consciousness dedicated to success and expansion, which makes it infinitely easier for you to rise to that level yourself. You are, in essence, downloading the software of genius directly from the collective field. The most famous and compelling evidence for this phenomenon is known as the 100th monkey effect. In the 1950s, scientists were studying a colony of Japanese macaque monkeys on the island of Koshima. They would leave sweet potatoes on the beach for the monkeys to eat. One day, a brilliant young female monkey named Emo discovered that she could wash the sand and grit off her potato in a nearby stream, making it much more pleasant to eat. She then taught this new skill to her mother and her playmates. Slowly, over the next few years, more and more monkeys on the island adopted this practice. The scientists observed a fascinating tipping point. When a critical number of monkeys on that single island, let's call it the 100th monkey, for the sake of the story, had learned to wash their potatoes, something inexplicable happened. Monkeys on other, completely separate islands, with whom there had been no physical contact, suddenly and spontaneously began washing their potatoes as well. The knowledge had not been taught, it had been transmitted. It had reached a critical mass, and the new behavior was uploaded to the collective consciousness, or morphic field, of the species, becoming instantly available to all Sir. This brings us to the most empowering realization of all. Your personal work is never just personal. Every time you choose to heal a personal wound, you are contributing to the healing of the collective wound. Every time you choose a thought of love over a thought of fear, you raise your own vibration, and you upload that frequency into the collective field, making it slightly easier for every other human being on the planet to access that same state of love. Every time you achieve a new level of success or joy, you create a new energetic pathway, a new possibility in the collective that others can then follow. You are, in your own way, being the 100th monkey. Your commitment to your own awakening is a profound act of service to the world. When you truly grasp this deep interconnectedness, the ego's paradigm of competition and separation dissolves. You realize that another's success does not diminish your own, but in fact contributes to a rising tide that lifts all boats. You understand that you are no longer a solitary creature fighting for your own small piece of the pie. You are an integral part of a vast, intelligent, and infinitely abundant ocean. And this realization fundamentally changes your relationship with the very idea of prosperity itself. Having realized your profound connection to the vast, interconnected ocean of the collective consciousness, the old, ego-based ideas of separation and competition begin to dissolve. You are no longer a solitary island fighting for scarce resources. You are an intrinsic part of an infinitely abundant whole. This realization invites you to undertake one of the most important healings of the spiritual journey, the healing of your relationship with prosperity. For many, this is the final taboo. It is easy to speak of love, light, and universal oneness. But the topic of money often feels dense, charged, and somehow unspiritual. We are here to dissolve that illusion, to be a fully empowered creator. You must make peace with abundance in all its forms. You must be willing to redefine wealth and take a sacred vow of prosperity. Let us first shine a light on the deep subconscious wounds many of us carry around money. The collective consciousness is thick with limiting and contradictory beliefs about wealth. We are told that money is the root of all evil. Yet we are simultaneously judged if we don't have enough of it. We are fed stories that rich people are greedy and corrupt, and that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. We absorb beliefs that you have to work yourself to the bone for every penny, and that there is a fundamental conflict between being a spiritual person and being a wealthy person. These programs create a profound inner conflict. Consciously, you may be asking the universe for more financial freedom, but subconsciously, you believe that money is bad, that wanting it makes you greedy, and that having it will make you unspiritual. Your subconscious mind, in its desire to keep you good and safe according to its programming, will then subtly sabotage your every effort to create wealth. It will cause you to miss opportunities, make poor financial choices, and feel an immense sense of guilt or anxiety whenever money does come your way. The first step in healing this wound is to understand that money is completely, utterly neutral. It is simply a form of energy. It is a tool, a symbol of exchange, and a magnifier. Money has no inherent morality. A hammer can be used to build a home that shelters a family, or it can be used to break a window. The hammer itself is neutral. The energy and intention of the person wielding it is what matters. Money is the same. It simply makes you more of what you already are. If you are a kind, loving, and generous person, money will become a magnificent tool for you to express more of that kindness, love, and generosity in the world. If you are a fearful and insecure person, more money will likely only amplify your fear and insecurity. The problem is never the money, it is the consciousness through which the money flows. To reject money on spiritual grounds is to reject a powerful tool that the universe can use to work miracles through you. The second step is to radically expand your definition of abundance. Our society has trained us to fixate on one narrow metric of wealth, the number in our bank account. This is like judging the health of an entire ecosystem by looking at only one species of plant. True, holistic abundance is a state of being, a feeling of richness that permeates every area of your life. There is an abundance of time, which is the freedom to spend your precious days in ways that bring you joy and fulfillment. There is an abundance of love, found in deep, supportive, and nourishing relationships. There is an abundance of health, the vibrant energy and well-being that allows you to enjoy this physical experience. There is an abundance of creativity, the endless flow of new ideas and inspiration. There is an abundance of joy, of laughter, of simple pleasures. When you begin to focus on and cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the profound abundance you already possess in these other areas, you begin to tune your entire being to the overall frequency of abundance. Financial wealth then finds it much easier to flow into your life, not as a desperate need to be filled, but as just one more natural expression of the rich and overflowing state you already inhabit. Think of prosperity as a mighty river. A healthy river is defined by its flow. It receives water from its source in the mountains, and it gives water to the lands it passes through, finally releasing it to the great ocean. It is most vital, most alive, and most powerful when it is in constant, dynamic motion. Now, imagine a person who, out of fear, decides to build a dam on this river. They believe that by stopping the flow, by hoarding the water, they will possess more of it and be more secure. But the opposite happens. The water behind the dam becomes stagnant, murky, and lifeless. Algae grows, the fish die, and the water becomes unusable. Meanwhile, the land downstream, deprived of the life-giving flow, withers and turns to dust. This is the perfect metaphor for consciousness. A poverty consciousness, rooted in fear and scarcity, tries to dam the flow. It hoards. I eat bunch. It fears letting go. A prosperity consciousness understands that the power is in the flow. It knows that it is a channel, not a container. It learns to receive with ecstatic gratitude and to give with joyful freedom. trusting that the source in the mountains is infinite and that its own generosity is what keeps the channel open and clear. To cultivate this prosperity consciousness, you must train your mind to see the evidence of abundance that is already all around you. Look at the millions of leaves on the trees in a single forest, the countless grains of sand on a single beach, the endless supply of air you breathe without charge. The default state of the universe is not lack, it is extravagant, overwhelming abundance. When you pay a bill, instead of feeling the pain of money leaving you, practice a new ritual. Hold the bill or look at the screen and feel genuine gratitude for the service you received, the electricity that lit your home, the technology that connects you to the world. And as you release the payment, bless it. See it flowing out from you to support the livelihoods of countless other people. From the CEO to the janitor, see it as your contribution to the great circular flow of economic energy. And finally, practice generosity, even when you feel you don't have enough. This is a powerful statement of faith. Give a genuine compliment. Give your undivided attention to a loved one. Give a smile to a stranger. Give away an object you no longer need. This act of giving cracks the very foundation of a scarcity mindset, proving to yourself and the universe that you live in a state of more than enough. This all culminates in taking an inner vow of prosperity. This is not a formal declaration, but a deep, quiet commitment you make in your own heart. It is a vow to release all guilt, shame, and fear around money. It is a vow to honor financial abundance as a sacred tool for good. It is a vow to see and appreciate the multifaceted abundance that already surrounds you. And above all, it is a vow to trust. It is a vow to trust that you are an extension of an infinitely abundant source, that you are always supported, always provided for, and that you are an open and worthy channel for prosperity to flow through. Once you have taken this vow, once you have fundamentally healed your relationship with wealth, the final step is to fully integrate this new reality. You must begin to walk, talk, and carry yourself as the prosperous, whole, and abundant being you now know yourself to be. You must learn to embody your future self in this present moment. We have now reached the summit of our creative journey, the point where all the principles we have discussed converge into a single, elegant, and profoundly powerful practice. We have cleared the inner landscape through surrender. We have drawn the blueprints with our thoughts. We have fueled the creation with our feelings. And we have taken our vow of prosperity. Now, we must close the final, a perceived gap between the you of this moment and the you who is living your wildest dreams. The secret to closing this gap is to realize that it is an illusion. The fastest way to travel to the future you desire is to stop traveling and to begin being. This is the art of the embodied master. It is the practice of living as your future self. Now, this is not about faking it until you make it, which implies a sense of fraudulence. This is about being it until you see it, which is an act of profound faith and quantum creation. The fundamental law of the universe is that it does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being, vibrationally. As long as you perceive your desire as something in the future, something you are striving towards, it will, by law, always remain in the future, just beyond your reach. To bring your desire into your present tense experience, you must collapse the timeline. You must be the person you wish to be. Before the evidence of that reality has appeared, you must generate the state of being from within, so that the universe can then mirror it back to you in your external world. It is no longer enough to tune your radio to the right station for 5 minutes during a meditation. You must now become the radio tower itself, consistently broadcasting the powerful, clear signal of your wish already fulfilled. When you broadcast this signal with unwavering consistency, all the components of that reality, the people, the resources, the opportunities have no choice but to assemble themselves around your powerful magnetic field. To make this practical, You must adopt a new guiding question that you will use as the primary operating principle for your life. At every crossroad, in every decision, big or small, you must pause and ask yourself, what would the future version of me, the version who is already healthy, wealthy, loved, and fulfilled in this situation? This question is a portal. It instantly lifts you out of the limitations of your current circumstances and allows you to access the wisdom, confidence, and perspective of your highest self. Let us explore how this works. Imagine you are in a store, about to make a purchase. The old you, operating from a program of lack, might anxiously choose the cheapest option, feeling a pang of fear as you spend money. The new you pauses and asks the question. The abundant, prosperous version of you would not make a choice from fear. They would choose the quality item they truly desire, not with recklessness, but with a calm trust that more money is always flowing to them. By making the choice from that higher state, you are embodying abundance now. Imagine you are in a situation where someone treats you with disrespect. The old you, operating from a program of unworthiness, might stay silent and accept it. The new you pauses and asks, how would the version of me who deeply loves and respects themselves and is surrounded by loving relationships respond to this? That version of you would not tolerate disrespect. They would lovingly, but firmly and clearly, set a boundary. By doing so, you are embodying self-love now. You are teaching the universe how you expect to be treated. Imagine you are tempted to skip your workout or eat food that you know makes you feel sluggish. You pause and ask, what choice would the vibrant, energized, and healthy version of me make right now? That version of you cherishes their body and would make the choice that fuels their vitality. By making that same choice, you are embodying health now. In every moment, you have a choice to act from the old programming of the past, or to act from the infinite possibility of your future self. This question is your key to choosing the future. The most effective way to understand this practice is through the metaphor of a great method actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. A truly dedicated actor does not simply memorize their lines. They immerse themselves in the character completely. If they are playing a king, they begin to walk with a royal posture, to speak with authority, to study history and etiquette. They think the thoughts and feel the emotions of the king until the boundary between the actor and the role begins to dissolve. They do this so that when they are on screen, their performance is not a performance at all, but a raw and authentic expression of the character they have become. You are the lead actor in the grand movie of your life, and you are also the director. The role you have chosen to play is that of your highest, most joyful, and most successful self. To give a convincing performance, a performance that the universe itself will believe and respond to. You cannot simply act prosperous or act confident. You must inhabit the role so completely that it becomes your new nature. You must think the thoughts, feel the feelings, and make the choices of this ideal version of you, until it is no longer an act, but simply who you are. This embodiment naturally extends to your physical expression in the world. Again, this is not about being financially irresponsible or inauthentic. It is about making subtle but powerful energetic shifts that signal your transformation. It is about looking at your closet, filled with the clothes of your old self, and making space. It might mean getting rid of anything that doesn't make you feel successful and confident, to create a vacuum for the wardrobe of your future self to appear. It means carrying yourself with better posture, with your shoulders back and your head held high, as a person of confidence would. It means speaking with more clarity and intention, eliminating words of doubt and hesitation from your vocabulary. It means upgrading your immediate environment in small ways that affirm your worthiness. Perhaps it means buying fresh flowers for your desk, using the good dishes for a simple weekday meal, or investing in one high-quality item rather than 10 cheap ones. Each of these small, external action serves as a powerful reinforcement of your new inner state, creating a feedback loop that tells the universe in no uncertain terms, I have changed. My old reality is no longer a match for me. My world must now upgrade itself to reflect the new person I have become. As you consistently practice this art of embodiment, as you ask the guiding question and make choices from your future self, day after day, a magical transformation takes place. What once felt like a conscious effort, like playing a role, begins to feel natural. The new neural pathways in your brain become stronger. The new state of being becomes your default. The role you were rehearsing becomes your true identity. This practice moves you beyond the state of actively trying to create your reality, into a state of being a natural magnet for the experiences and opportunities that align with who you have become. You begin to develop an inner foundation of peace and power that is no longer dependent on external conditions or validation. You begin to cultivate an unwavering state. We have journeyed through the landscapes of the mind. We have harnessed the power of the heart, and we have learned to embody the person we wish to become. Now we arrive at the final destination of the inner work, which is not a destination at all, but a new way of living, a new state of being. All the practices, the techniques, and the principles we have explored have been pointing to this one ultimate goal: to make your desired state of being your natural, default, and unshakable home. It is the process of moving from conscious effort to unconscious competence, from practicing joy to simply being joyful. It is the graduation from being a student of these laws to becoming a living master of them. This is the cultivation of the unwavering state. When you first begin this journey, maintaining a high vibration can feel like a conscious and sometimes strenuous effort. It can feel like you are holding a beach ball underwater. You have to actively focus on keeping it submerged in the positive state. And the moment your attention wavers, the old, habitual patterns of doubt and fear, the natural buoyancy of your past conditioning pop back up to the surface. This is a normal and expected part of the process. Every time you consciously choose a thought of gratitude over a thought of lack, every time you pivot from fear to faith, every time you choose to feel the wish fulfilled, you are building a new kind of spiritual muscle. You are carving new neural pathways in your brain, making the higher vibration more familiar to your system. With consistency, a magical shift begins to occur. What once required effort now starts to feel easy. The new, a higher state of being begins to feel more natural and more like home than your old state of struggle. The beach ball no longer wants to pop up. It now prefers to stay in the clear, calm waters of your new consciousness. Eventually, then you reach a tipping point where it now requires more effort to feel bad than it does to feel good. This is the sign that you are approaching the unwavering state. Think of the process of learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it is all clumsy, conscious effort. The child has to think about a dozen things at once. Push the pedals, keep the handlebars straight, look where I'm going, maintain my balance, don't fall. Their focus is intense. Their movements are jerky and uncertain, and they will inevitably fall many times. This is the beginner stage of conscious creation, where you are intensely focused on applying all the rules. But the child, with persistent practice, keeps getting back on the bike, day after day. The body begins to learn. The conscious thoughts start to fade into the background. The act of balancing becomes less of a mental command and more of an intuitive feeling. Then, one glorious day, it all clicks. The child is no longer trying to ride the bike. They are simply riding. It has become automatic, effortless, and joyful. They can now look at the scenery, wave to a friend, or even sing a song, all while their body handles the complex mechanics of riding without a single conscious thought. They have achieved an unwavering state of bike rider. This is precisely the journey you are on. Your desired state of being, be it abundance, love, or peace, is the bicycle. Through your consistent practice, you move from the wobbly, effortful stage to the graceful, Automatic stage of unconscious competence. It ceases to be something you do and becomes simply who you are. What are the characteristics of a person living in this unwavering state? The first is that you stop trying to manifest. The law of attraction is no longer a tool you consciously apply. It becomes a passive function of your very being. Like breathing, you have so thoroughly cleaned up your vibration and so deeply embodied your desired identity that you become a powerful passive magnet for miracles, opportunities, people, and resources that are a perfect match for you are drawn into your experience naturally and effortlessly, often without you even having to specifically ask for them. Life begins to feel less like a series of goals to be achieved and more like a magical, synchronistic unfolding. The second characteristic is a profound inner peace that is independent of outer conditions. The world can still be chaotic. The news can still be unsettling. People around you can still be caught in their own dramas. But you become the calm eye of the storm. Your inner state of well-being is no longer a fragile thing that can be shattered by a piece of bad news or a critical comment. It is a deep, unshakable foundation, a silent inner sanctuary that you can access at any time. Regardless of what is happening out there, your peace is no longer conditional, it is constitutional. It is who you are. This leads to a complete loss of neediness. You are so full from within, so nourished by your own connection to Source, that your desires transform from desperate needs into playful preferences. You would still enjoy them, but you are so ecstatically happy and whole right now that you are in a state of profound peace whether they ever manifest or not. And paradoxically, it is this very state of non-needy, joyful preference that makes you the most powerful magnet of all. This is, at its core, a fundamental shift in your sense of identity. You no longer identify with the story of the person who is struggling, who is lacking, who is on a journey to get somewhere. That old identity has dissolved. Your new core I am statement has become, I am abundant, I am whole, I am loved, I am a joyful creator. When your sense of self is no longer defined by your past or your external circumstances, but by this deep, inner truth, your entire reality must, by law, reorganize itself to provide the evidence of this new identity. You have become the cause, not the effect. When you achieve this unwavering state of inner fullness, when you are so deeply connected to your own inner source of peace, love, and abundance that you feel you lack nothing, you come to a final, beautiful realization. The old paradigm of the ego, which is based on getting and achieving and acquiring, no longer makes any sense. You understand, on a cellular level, that you are already everything you have ever sought. And from this place of profound wholeness, you discover the ultimate secret of the cosmic flow. You realize that the acts of giving and of receiving are not two separate, opposing forces as the ego believes. You discover that they are, in fact, one single, beautiful, and effortless motion. Having arrived at the unwavering state, that deep inner sanctum of peace and fullness that is independent of all external conditions, you are now poised for the final, most beautiful realization of the creative journey. From this place of profound inner wealth, where you know yourself to be whole and complete, the old egoic paradigm of getting and losing begins to seem like a distant dream. The frantic need to acquire and the fearful need to hoard simply fall away, for you have found the infinite source of all things within yourself. It is from this state of grace that you can finally perceive the ultimate secret of universal flow, that giving and receiving are not two separate actions. They are not an opposing duality of credit and debit. They are, in fact, one single, seamless, and eternal motion, the very breath of the cosmos itself. Our world, under the influence of the ego, has taught us to see giving and receiving as a transaction. We believe that when we give something away, we are losing it, that our own supply is now somehow diminished. This leads to a feeling of sacrifice, of resentment, or a reluctance to give freely. Conversely, when we receive something, we are often conditioned to feel a sense of debt, of unworthiness, or an awkward obligation to pay it back. Both of these perspectives are rooted in the illusion of separation and lack. They presuppose that there are individual, separate entities, giver and a receiver, and a limited supply of resources to be passed between them. The unwavering master understands that this is a profound illusion. The universe is not a static warehouse of limited goods. It is a dynamic, infinitely abundant, and ceaselessly circulating ocean of energy. To be prosperous, to be joyful, to be alive, is to participate in this circulation. To resist it is to stagnate. Think once more of the mighty river. The river's glory is not in holding water, but in moving it. It joyfully receives an endless supply from the mountain springs, and it generously gives all of itself to the great ocean, nourishing everything along its path. Its act of giving is what allows it to continue receiving. If the river decided to stop giving, it would cease to be a river. It would become a stagnant swamp. The same is true for you. You are designed to be a channel for the infinite energy of the universe. To try and only receive without giving is to dam your own flow and create stagnation in your life. To give from a place of sacrifice, the belief that you are losing something precious, is to pinch your own channel. Telling the universe that you believe in limits and creating a reality of depletion. The key to a miraculous life is to become a wide, clear, and open channel, allowing the universal energy to flow through you, not just to you. It is vital to expand your understanding of what it means to give. We often limit this concept to the giving of money or material objects. But you can be the most generous person in the world without ever spending a dime. You can give the profound gift of your presence, the act of listening to another person with your full, undivided attention, without interrupting or formulating your own response. In our distracted world, this is one of the most precious gifts of all. You can give the gift of your appreciation, a genuine and specific compliment that can illuminate someone's entire day. You can give the gift of your joy. When you are authentically happy and lighthearted, your very presence uplifts everyone you encounter. You are a gift to the world. You can give the gift of forgiveness, releasing someone from the energetic prison of your resentment, which, in turn, frees you. All of these are acts of profound generosity that open your channel to receive. For you are signaling to the universe that you are operating from a place of overflow, not of lack. There is no metaphor more perfect for this single, unified motion than your own breath. Just for this moment, bring your awareness to the air flowing in and out of your body. Notice the gentle expansion of the inhale and the complete release of the exhale. Now, try to only inhale. Try to just keep taking air in, hoarding it, without letting any go. What happens? It almost immediately becomes painful. Your body rebels, your lungs ache, and you are forced to release the air. Now, try the opposite. Exhale completely, pushing all the air out, and try to hold it out. Again, it is impossible. A powerful, instinctual need arises, and you are compelled to draw in the next life-giving breath. This is the divine secret. Right here, in your own body. The inhale and the exhale are not two separate, opposing actions. They are one single, cyclical process. The exhale is what creates the vacuum, the space, for the next inhale to be received. The inhale is what provides the substance and energy for the next exhale to be given. One cannot exist without the other. They are a perfect, unbroken circle. This is the nature of giving and receiving in the universe. Your joyful giving is the exhale that makes space in your life for more good to rush in. Your grateful receiving is the inhale that fills you with the energy you will then share with the world. When you truly integrate this understanding, the ego's personal attachment to giving and receiving dissolves. When you receive a gift, an opportunity, or a sum of money from someone, You can feel immense gratitude for them as the channel. But you understand on a deeper level that it is the universe giving through them. To you, this removes any feeling of awkward debt or unworthiness. You are simply on the receiving end of the universal flow in that moment. And when you are in a position to give, you realize that it is not your money or your energy that you are depleting. You are simply the blessed and chosen channel that the universe is using to deliver a gift to another. The abundance was never yours to possess in the first place. It was the universe's to distribute through you. This removes all sense of sacrifice, and it dissolves any egoic pride that might come from being the generous one. You are not the source of the gift. You are its honored messenger. This is the great circle. It is the realization that there is no me giving to you. There is only one universal energy, one consciousness, flowing in an endless, beautiful, and perfect loop. And this is the final secret to bending the universe to your will. You finally understand that you do not need to bend it at all. Your will and the will of the universe have become one by becoming a clear, open, and joyful channel for this divine circulation of giving and receiving. You have moved beyond striving. You are no longer trying to get something from the universe. You are dancing with it as a perfect and harmonious partner. You have found the flow. We have traveled far on this journey inward. We began at the edge of desperation, at that place of brittle effort where pushing harder only deepens the struggle. And from that place of surrender, we began a great unfolding. We discovered that our thoughts are the silent architects of our world, and our feelings are the magnetic fuel that brings those blueprints to life. We learned to see the world not as a random series of events, but as a perfect mirror reflecting our own inner state, and to read the sacred language of the universe in the signs and synchronicities that guide our path. We ventured into the deep engine room of the subconscious mind to rewrite the old contracts that have kept us bound. We learned the profound difference between the desperate hustle of the ego and the graceful flow of inspired action. We explored the paradox of wanting without needing, the power of focused attention, and the creative stillness of the quantum pause. We discovered that gratitude is the master key that unlocks every door, that perceived delays are a gift of faith, and that even negative experiences are divine messengers in disguise. We have dissolved the ego's resistance and expanded our awareness to touch the collective field of all possibility. We have redefined prosperity as a state of flow, and have practiced embodying the masterful, future version of ourselves, right now. And finally, we have come to see that giving and receiving are not two actions, but one single, sacred breath. And so we return to our original premise. When nothing works, do this. And now we see that the one great action, is not an action at all. It is a profound and total shift in consciousness. It is the revolution from trying to change the world outside, to dedicating yourself to transforming the world within. The secret to bending the universe to your will is not to engage in an epic battle of wills. It is to so perfectly align your own will with the will of the universe that they become one and the same. It is to stop screaming requests into the void and to instead become a quiet, powerful radio tower, broadcasting the clear frequency of the reality you choose. Knowing the universe must, by its very nature, match your signal, the power you have been seeking out there in a person, in a job, in a bank account that's been within you all along. Peace is not a destination. Abundance is not a number. Love is not something you get from another. They are all states of being. They are your birthright. They are the very substance of who you are, waiting patiently to be uncovered from beneath the accumulated dust of fear and false belief. This journey does not end here. With these words, it begins now. In your very next breath, you are the creator. You are the architect. You are the artist of your life. The principles we have explored are not just beautiful theories. They are the operating manual for your divine human experience. Do not simply believe them. Live them. Test them. Make them your own. Start now. In this moment, take one conscious breath. Find one simple thing in your awareness to be grateful for. Ask yourself, in the face of your next choice, what would the highest, most loving version of me do right now? You hold all the power you will ever need. You are not a victim of your past, you are the creator of your future. And the universe is not a cold, indifferent void. It is a loving, intelligent, and infinitely abundant field of possibility, listening intently not to your words, but to the feeling in your heart, waiting to conspire with you to bring your most beautiful dreams to life. The journey begins now.